Yes.
For the good of the whole county.
Yes.
First
Meeting two horses.
All right, I'm gonna call this meeting to order tonight from Platte County Zoning and Planning. First of all, a couple introductions. We have Laura Bookout now, our new planner. Malcolm, county clerk, is in the house. We have Bob Brockman, Jay Collins, Bonnie Lockhart, Bill Klein, myself, Marty Shepherd. I don't think there's does anybody have a conflict of interest tonight? Okay, we don't have any conflict of interest. Approval of minutes from the
Marty.
last meeting.
I may ask you to hold off on those. There's one section, in talking to Steve Shockley. I am not sure what the direction of the board was. It's related to setbacks, so I would ask that you hold off on the minutes until we have that discussion to see if it aligns with what your intent was.
Okay. I think we were just discussing that, actually. So at this time, we'll table the minutes and move on to, first item on the agenda is new business. It's review of chapter 13.15, the solar energy facilities. Has the board had time to read these
I do.
somewhat? Tell me how you want to go through it. Give me some guidance. Page by page.
Well, you need to do page by page.
Well, I say we start, so we can keep moving.
Yeah.
We're gonna start on page 1. And just kind of go through. Do you guys all have copies of these?
They're online as well,
Okay,
on the screen, and then Laura's got them up there. And so if you just go page by page, she can
Okay.
scroll through each page.
You guys reviewed it?
And these are, as adopted in 2022,
right.
and so,
Fairly new.
I think, I think before Doug left, I think we felt fairly confident that they were,
Confident that they were pretty well in order.
that's my recollection.
and I don't have a similar document, like we did for wind, but I do have an email I shared with all of you. And so at some point, we'll need to address that as well.
Okay.
So,
Excuse me, Malcolm, by similar document, you mean from 2022?
No,
Similar to the wind proposals,
to the wind proposals that we were
where it was
doing.
line by line.
You mean the Jill and I put?
Right.
You have a document for this?
We do not.
I do not.
For solar.
So what they're working through is that regs is adopted in 22.
On solar?
Yep.
That's
Yes.
when they were adopted?
Yep.
Okay.
Well, okay, all of chapter 13 was adopted in 2010, but then updated in 22.
Okay.
Right.
Do you wanna consider the new terminology like the WEX? And so this would be the SECS,
Yeah, I wouldn't know why we wouldn't.
so that would be, instead of facilities, I don't know what if that is common in the industry, we could ask Nextera if that's common. Or not.
I think we can just make that change.
All the way
If,
through.
if the board decides to do that. I
That
think-
would just be one thing,
My opinion would be, we need to be consistent.
right, and the WEX is,
I think that would make, in my opinion, I think that would make sense.
okay,
Agreed.
Could I say,
Sure.
just as a general
If
map?
you
Yep.
would, state your name.
Yep, Mary Ann Shaner, attorney at Hathaway and Coons on behalf of Nextera, in the Chugwater Energy Project. So the industry, I guess acronym here, and I think it does go with your current language, would be SEF, just solar energy facilities.
Oh, you know.
I'm good with that as well. What would be the board's desire on an acronym for the project?
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, I think that would be fine. SCF.
Okay. Lucinda, what do you think of that? You have a problem with that
Solar energy
facility, I'm guessing?
facilities. Well, conversion, I mean, I guess the conversion, right? You're converting solar to energy, and that's in the wind energy conversion systems, that's why they went to WEX. So is this different? I don't know.
I wouldn't think so.
I think it would be solar
Solar
energy
energy
conversion
conversion.
systems, but if, you know,
I think we're gonna worry about splitting hairs personally,
yeah, it's not a big deal.
so.
Yeah, I think that solar energy facilities
Just
is
wondered if
fine
you were gonna
because
consider
it's kind of,
No, I appreciate the input. What's that?
it's kind of self-explanatory, solar energy.
Yeah, I like it.
I guess,
Which it's really, it says it down in A already, the chapter governs solar energy facilities.
mhm.
It's in the first line, so I like it.
And then, okay, so the first page is pretty much the same as
Yeah.
the other energy regulations that we have.
Okay, let's go to page
All
two,
the way
Laura.
up.
Could we strike a word in page one and add a couple?
Regulations.
Tell me what you're thinking.
Okay,
That's what we're here
line
for.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the word reasonably,
What paragraph?
first paragraph,
Okay,
line 5, the word reasonably. And it should just say to preserve and protect, not reasonably preserve and protect.
I believe that the whole regulations is based on reasonably. I mean, it says it at the beginning of.
And then the next
chapter.
line down, life and health. Or nearby and extended property owners.
well, wouldn't quality of life
Protecting
be
public
health?
and safety.
I mean, pretty much be the same thing, wouldn't it? I mean, quality of life is your health,
Mhm.
isn't it? I mean, that's how I would take that.
And the last two
Sure.
lines of that, 3 lines of that paragraph should be struck. And to promote the supply of alternative energy. I mean, if you read the news,
That's how all of our regs are based on that.
those last 2 lines should, since that is not the goal anymore. The goal is energy sources that are good energy sources, not all. Okay, that's it.
I think we do that. It's throughout our regulations. Every chapter pretty much
Okay.
has a purpose like.
Go ahead.
stated.
Yeah, Keith Miller. Marty, I think quality of life connotes also economic factors more than just health. So I think quality of life implies economic burdens or economic distress as well as, Yeah.
So let's take economic.
Okay, so what are you saying, Tom? Tell me what you're,
well, I think preserving and protecting quality of life and health, or health and safety. But I think quality of life implies many factors that affect how we live, and economically economics of the region is one of those areas.
any comment from the board? Change it, leave it, what?
Just what I already said.
Leave it?
Almost every chapter of all local regulations start with this same purpose, and so if we're gonna change it here, we change it everywhere.
Okay, so your wish is
So,
to leave
but
it?
I think it's fine to leave it.
Any other-
I'm not speaking for everybody.
I know, I'm asking other board members.
Leave it? Yeah, I'm good with it. Leave it.
The line above does say, for the purpose of preserving and protecting public health and safety.
Mhm.
So you do have a statement to that effect.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, So we're gonna leave page 1 other than changing to the SEF.
That's it.
Okay. Page 2.
I had one other comment. After the word culture, which is the line above, with the line we're talking about life, if we could add historic after the word culture. So it would read protect
I
natural,
don't think that
cultural,
that's
historic,
necessary,
and
because
wildlife.
that's also mentioned later, but we need to keep that in mind in the design and everything, and it's also in on that application part, you know, that you're,
Well, do you wanna question this, and then as we go through, we're gonna find that part?
we can.
Okay. Thanks, Jill.
So anything we want to add in this one too.
Any questions on page 2?
Yes.
Okay,
Are you talking to me? Carrie Baker, Chugwater, number A, where anywhere in the whole document where it says concentrated solar thermal. I would like to see that struck throughout the whole thing. I didn't see it in the Goshen County, that's all just whatever the word is. Mhm.
Well, concentrated solar is not photovoltaic. Concentrated solar is towers that heat thermal fluids for energy generation. It's not photovoltaic at all.
And they take tons of land. They're mirrors, it's totally different.
Yeah. There are none in the US right now.
any discussion from the board?
I don't know what to think about. Just because it's like, well, if none exists, then we shouldn't need it, but then again,
But if something happens to come along and we're not ready for it,
I realize those are
Exactly.
definitions, and you may wanna keep the
and it is
definitions.
just a definite. I don't believe that it's, I don't know for sure, but I don't believe that it's anything else.
I realize that those
Yes.
are definitions, and you may
Yep.
wanna keep that definition.
Right, yeah. I think it's okay to keep it.
okay?
It's not describing like any part of.
Anything else on definitions on page 2?
Can I go before definitions? At the top of the page?
Sure.
Yeah, this is just picky stuff about the numbers.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be there, the 201.
The 185207 should be 208. There's a number now, another number now.
Oh, right.
Okay, and the other one is what you probably said, Bonnie. They don't have a 101, that was repealed in 2013, so it should be 301. 98301 to 98302. I think the others are all right here.
Okay.
Okay,
185101 to 185107 were repealed. Weren't they?
what? No, there's just another one. There's just another
I
number.
thought it was 207 and 208. The 185.
207 becomes 208.
Yes,
Is
just
that
because
right?
there's another one. Yes, there's another number now. Correct. I believe that's right. I can go.
18.5, I thought 18.5, oh, I'm looking at 101 and 107. 201 to 208, is that what you said?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
That's probably right.
okay. page 3.
Marty,
Yes,
I do think at some point you will have to have that discussion and decision as to whether the concentrated solar thermal devices are allowed or not. Because if the answer is no, then I think, to Keith's point, you'd want that defined earlier, but not within solar energy facility. Because later it talks about solar energy facilities being allowed under these reasons. And so if you decide it's not allowed, it should be taken out of that definition, I think. So at some point, I think you need to have that discussion and decision so that we can make those changes throughout.
do we want to have that
So just-
discussion right now?
Just not to have it in our definitions at that point.
I think the broader discussion is that a land use that you think is appropriate in Black County? If the answer is no, we need to make those changes in a few places. If the answer is yes, then we leave a lot of it similar. But it gives us direction as to what some of your intent is. Is your intent just a collection of sunlight turned into energy, or is it like they were talking about beaming it up to a tower, heating fluids? I guess to you, what is solar? What is allowable solar development in Black County?
I hate to be cavalier, but the easy thing would be just to ban them from the county.
That would be easy, but I'm not sure I agree. I think the more we ban anything from our county, we just keep getting so tight that we don't want anything to come.
Well, I realize that it might be a philosophical discussion
I
here,
think by
but
having a definition already in place, though, at least we kind of have an idea.
I agree with Malcolm, let's just make a decision if we're gonna allow it or we're not.
And
To me, I think the economics of any new technology that comes out will almost weed itself out. My wife and I went to the football game over at Laramie, and in the practice facility, I was telling Bob, there was a young guy there that he has, it's called Heirloom. And it's like a big racetrack, and it has blades on it, and it goes around and around. They're generating about a megawatt, he said. They're doing an experimental over at Rock River right now. So there's new technology out there that we have no idea. I hate to be so restrictive
That's
nobody wants to come in.
That's my take on our county. We have to let something come in or we're gonna choke ourselves to death.
So then are you gonna allow the nuclear mini plants to come in and we have to deal with that?
You know what, Mark? You're asking my opinion. I'd be in favor of it. It's jobs. Although you just read the news where the site in Casper got turned down and went to Tennessee because our government wasn't user-friendly. And I don't know, I disagree with that. Go ahead.
That's a little bit of an untrue statement. What it is the nuclear storage is not allowed in our state. And so, Radiant had no aspects and no solution from the test labs on how to store them other than in those casts. And Wyoming has no statute. You cannot store nuclear waste in Wyoming. So it's not that Wyoming doesn't want corporations, because trust me, they're being shoved on the people. But right now, we have no nuclear storage. It's illegal.
Okay, thank you, Jill. Go ahead.
So philosophically, we're in this meeting right now and we are hopefully creating rules for things that we at least marginally understand. The concept of these concentrated solar thermal devices is something we know nothing about. So philosophically, logically, I should say, it would be safer for the county to not include it here and to say if they want to do it, we will create regulations for it so that it can come in safely. Not being in your regulations isn't automatically it'll never happen. It's simply, this is what we understand enough to bring in safely. So obviously, planning and zoning will exist for a long time or something equivalent. And if somebody has a good idea, they'll come in, you guys will say, sure, let's put these regulations in and do it right. But if you just leave the door if you're gonna say that, you might as well just put a big blanket statement and any new, business that would like to come on in with any new invention, which is not something obviously that you want to do. You want to bring in things that you understand
Search
and
all
can make
documents.
sure are safe for our county.
Tell me if this is,
So this is not prohibitive
Reference
to
to
not
where else in this
include it right now. It's just simply wise to only regulate what you understand and what you're familiar
just
with.
because it's in our definitions doesn't mean we're regulating it, does it?
That's correct.
It does, it's just a definition.
That is correct. But I
And I
think that,
think that's the only place that it's referenced, it's in our
On the
definitions.
F there.
Yeah, in the regs.
Definition, not definition F, that's it.
And that's it.
That's it throughout the rest of it.
It's, so
Through
it's not
solar.
it's not referenced anywhere else in our
Not in
solar
solar.
regs. Yeah.
But when you talk, the whole section is essentially alluding to solar energy facilities are allowed and can be permitted. So I know it's just a definition, but it's an important one because solar energy facility, if it includes that, it's allowed to be permitted through these regulations. And so what I'm asking for, really, we just need to know your intent. I think that's some of what I missed in the last meeting, and so it's a heavy question, but just need to understand some intent at some point so that we have direction.
Doesn't that mean that these regulations have to be expanded to properly permit concentrated solar, which they are not in these regulations? That means they would have to be expanded.
any discussion?
Well, I guess I have to kind of compare it to the whole BES thing too. We don't have regulations for that
No,
yet
we'll
either.
have to agree with that.
I mean, here's
That's
an
what we're working
example
on doing.
of what I'm talking about.
Exactly.
Down on that exact same page,
Maybe it's the same.
page 3, permitted uses.
Yeah.
A solar energy facility that complies with the provisions of this section may be permitted, blah, blah, blah. So if I'm reading that, I go back to, well, what's a solar energy facility? It means utility scale, PV, CST, or experimental solar technology. So if I'm the planner and somebody says, I want to create this solar thermal device, is it allowed? I think A on page 3 says just that. So,
That it is allowed?
because it's in that definition of
Because it
solar
falls in
energy.
that solar energy facility.
Right. So you're gonna hate to hit you with such a heavy hitting question, start off right off, but
It's all right,
Might as well hit
we
'em
gotta
right away.
address it sooner or later.
and it's something, you don't have to come up with a decision here. I mean, at some point you do have a public hearing where you're able to take or comment, one way or the other. So just know that if you do suggest something tonight, it's not necessarily final, you still have your public hearing.
Any discussion from the board, thoughts?
I guess at this point, I would like to just maybe table that point. Cause it looks to me like there's one definition and two or three other places that's in there. And I guess I'd like to have a little more input on what's good and what's bad about them. I mean,
So would it be, if I could, would it be the board's opinion to create regulations solely for the thermal and just leave it out of this?
class unto itself,
Make it
a use.
And that way we could do a little research and,
Remove it from this section.
mhm.
Might be a good idea.
I know it's another section of rules, but we still gotta address it sooner or later, whether it's here or there.
Right, and it
Does that clarify anything for you,
sounds like
Malcolm?
it could be.
Does that clarify things for you? I think we just create its own.
That much about it.
I think that would be very wise to
Into
do.
the section if that's
Okay.
appropriate, but yeah, do
So-
further research on.
What you'll see then, when we get these back to you, is the definition of solar energy facility will not contain CST. On page 2, CST will say, as governed in section whatever the new section would be. Just to make it clear that that's a use unto its own.
So you would keep the definition there,
Just, yeah, you can keep the definition.
but 13,
We'll point it to a different spot
13,
and then take it out of
25.
solar energy facility. Thank you.
Yeah, it would be 13, 25.
Where was the other place it was brought up in?
It's just right here and
In
right here
F.
and right here
Yeah.
and F.
Right here,
So it'd be pulled out of there?
yeah, we'll take it out of there. And then you said at the bottom of the definition, we'll put C-section.
Yeah.
On page 2,
Right.
At the bottom of the definition in
then, pardon?
B, in B's definition.
In B's
Yeah.
definition will go on the bottom, and then that would fix A below. Permitted locations.
Thank you, Laura. Thanks, Malcolm.
Yeah, thank you.
Page 3.
Did you get the part B on section 50, under design standards, minimum lot size? Because you have no concentrated, and you have 40 acres for that, so that's also a reference to that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Page 4.
So this is
oh,
out.
no. Because that's talking about solar energy facilities and general, not concentrated solar thermal.
Page 4, pretty self-explanatory, is it not? Page 5.
Marty,
Yes.
quick question on that G. This is probably a real big can of worms.
Are you on page 3, or where are you
I
at?
don't know what page I'm on. G, mine all say page 10. Somehow.
Are you talking electrical interconnections?
Yeah,
Solar
which-
storage unit, are we there? In my head.
You're back.
I'm not sure where you're at.
She's on page 3.
Oh, that's page 10.
It's on the definitions, the solar storage
I
unit.
don't see a G. Oh, I do.
Solar storage.
At the top?
It's under definitions.
Could we add something not to be confused with a BES? Or something just not to be confused with BES, and that BES would have its own regulations?
Well, we know BES is gonna have its own regulations anyway. We don't even talk about it in here.
Well, BES is a solar storage unit.
Could be confusing to those that don't know the difference.
Yeah. Bus
Unless-
can be a
unless you're
storage
thinking
unit
of
for any energy.
Personal
can't it?
Yes.
storage. You
Bus,
know,
bus can be
on-
for any energy, though, not.
Solar
Only
storage
solar.
could be thermal storage
No,
and not necessarily
Specific.
electrical storage as Bess says. So I think if you do what Lou suggests, it'll just clarify it. To say,
Just to make it a certain amount of energy.
well, to clarify the form of energy storage. There's lots of forms of energy. And Bess is chemically stored energy. But this would imply that you could also have thermally stored energy. Or magnetically stored energy. There's lots of forms of storage of energy. And I think what Lou's trying to say is, we know best, there's a strong desire to site best units in this state. And so I don't think it hurts to clarify that it what types of energy you're talking about.
Maybe just take it out of this section.
I think that'd be wise again,
I
Marty.
think we should have a definition.
Yeah.
So just leave it alone in the definition. I'm listening, but I'm not hearing. I'm listening. What would be your guys' take in the back, I mean, we're hearing one side.
Sure.
What's your side?
Yeah. You know, we are here to, you know, build photovoltaic solar, not thermal solar. Can't really speak to that. It's not a popular technology anymore. To the gentleman's point, it could one day and come back, and there's always advancements in technology. I think this line reads fine.
I think when it's in the definitions, I think we're okay to leave it.
I have a question, like why, if it's a solar storage unit, like wouldn't a BESS be a solar storage
If
unit?
you would, please state your name.
Oh, it's Marissa Murphy from the Black County Mercantile.
Okay.
I just, under this definition, would BESS be a solar storage unit?
Yes.
Okay,
The BESS is a many types of energy storage unit, the way I understand it.
But it could be
Not
solar.
only- It could be solar.
So I think like what the woman in the front row is saying, that you need to say that BESS gets its own regulations, cause otherwise if that's,
Yeah.
We are saying that. Best are gonna have their own regulations.
BESS will have its own regulations.
That's not, that's
But
not
could
an
you have it
argument.
in there? Could you say that there? Just add that little sentence.
Why would we need to if we're gonna have their own regulation?
Well, I think, and I don't know that we have to hit it just tonight, because it may depend on what your best regs end up saying. Maybe they end up saying a certain size, above this point, it goes to here, and so
That's what I was.
maybe this is a definition you put a pin in, and then depending on how some of the best conversation goes,
Where do you implement it then?
So how do you know what size to make it though?
Well, you could just go right here and put a little quotation on the very end. If best used, go to. So if someone reads that and then they're thinking they wanna use a best, this guides them to where you have to go.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like what you did with the other one.
I could go with that.
Technology is advancing so fast. Right now, we're concentrating on best in 5 years. In 5 years, it could be something totally different. So do we really wanna isolate and specify in this one area best? Like,
Yes.
Well, only if you have regulations for them, you should.
I mean, the plan is that we will, but what I'm saying is, solar storage unit, best is today, tomorrow could be something else, yesterday's, might come back. I
You could
think
put-
you isolate yourself
You could
and
put
set
best
it up
as
for
an
failure.
example, best. There you go. For example, don't be confused that this means best.
As those new technologies appear and develop, you're going to have to write your regulations in.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Go ahead.
Yes, thank you. On section B,
Also, if you would, if you would, just for our minutes,
yes,
please say who you are.
thank you. My name is Chloe Butler, and I am referring to what you said in part B. You said something to the effect of you would add in a phrase of as governed in and reference the other regulations for this table
For the thermal
topic,
solar.
yes.
Exactly.
So would it not be
I
reasonable,
think it'd
since
be the
you
same.
already are doing a best, to say something to the effect of as governed in?
I don't think that's too much to ask personally. Everybody else on the board, commission, I don't think it's too much to ask. All it does is circle back to make sure we're,
I guess I just don't think that all solar storage units are gonna be a BESS.
and I don't think they are either. I think what they're saying is, if it is a best, it will redirect them to a different part.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah, exactly.
we'll work on some language where basically solar storage unit at this.
Now, we got a lot to get through here if we're gonna keep
We're-
going.
We're basically, solar storage
It's
unit
important.
would not include, some basic battery definition at this point. We'll work on some
Okay,
language, but I think we understand your direction.
I lost track of where
We were on 5.
we were on 5, okay? Anything on 5?
Is that,
Okay, then let's move on to 6.
did you go, sorry, I keep going back, my pages aren't numbered. 13-15-040, prohibition and penalties,
Where?
On page 3.
is that 3?
That's right after the definitions.
Yeah, we just got done with the best.
It's our page 3.
There's a prohibition, okay,
And it's the same as what all of our other regs say also.
there might be some additions of it, just a few words, right? On A, prohibition, line 1, erect, comma, install. Construct, comma, reconstruct,
Reconstruct, we added into the wind
the wind,
regulations.
yeah. And then after facilities, line 2, add transmission lines or substations. Just to cover yourself. That is in section A, prohibition. And then, okay, I think that was it. Okay, that was all I had on those.
On 4, it's big D, little a. It says an appropriate security or livestock fence shall be placed. I think may gives you and the landowner some discretion, so their lease allows for grazing. That, I think may gives you some leeway.
You're on, what page are you on?
Page
Page
4,
4, safety access.
DA.
And maybe you do want the security fence to be a shell, and so, I don't know. I just was thinking if somebody wanted livestock in their lease allowed for it.
Is there any way to divide security and livestock? Because security is really urgent because of the high voltage, et cetera. Wouldn't it also be important for livestock if it's high voltage?
I would say that's between the landowner and the livestock.
That-
Or the livestock owner, I don't think that's this county's job.
Yeah, they run livestock under them all the time.
Constantly.
My question, okay, can I have a question there?
Sure,
If you put a fence around it, what keeps the landowner from fencing his cattle in or a sheep or whatever? But I think you should fence it for the security of the people in the area or neighbors. I think it should be fenced.
It's saying it
'Cause this is original,
It is.
this is
It
original,
has to
right?
it
be
has to be
fenced.
fenced.
According to these
According to our-
regulations,
it
an
has to be.
appropriate security or
But
livestock.
we
He
can't-
is saying it should be may, I think, right?
No.
Instead of shall, it should be
That was my suggestion, was a may,
maybe placed.
give,
Mhm.
leeway or,
So just leave no fence around it. Is that what you're saying?
yeah, and I'm thinking like, large tract of land where
Mhm.
they surround,
That's what I'm thinking too.
like, their own land surrounds on all 4 sides.
Mhm.
I think case by case, you're all wise enough to rule on that.
What about gates? Couldn't this fence have a gate? So then it would be still okay to have the
I
fence
think we're
and
wasting.
they can use the
time.
gate and let all their livestock in
He's
if
just
they
saying-
want.
And I agree with them though, that it should be may, not shall.
Okay.
I don't think it has to be.
Okay.
So you think it's okay to have a solar farm without a fence around it?
If somebody has 500 acres out there with a little solar farm in the middle of it and they're running their own livestock around it, I don't think they should be required to have a fence around that. If it's their own property, if it's somebody else's
I'm
property.
talking about a section of so a section and a half of solar panels, that shouldn't be fenced.
Depends on how the landowners,
I
how it
think-
sits.
I think it's a case by case basis and then that we stipulate that it has to have a fence.
What if the person with a section and a half of solar owns 4 sections and it's in the center? You gonna make them fence it and they own it all?
Just
That makes
because-
no
I-
sense to me.
I think it's just for safety.
Well, but there again, I think that between the landowner and the energy company. Okay, now we're 5.
We're, yeah.
Six.
I have a suggestion
Okay,
on the fire protection. Is there a way we can add on other on-site fire suppressants, lithium batteries, electrical lines, et cetera, shall be on site? So other on-site fire suppressants shall be on site.
why would there be a lithium battery?
I was in a parentheses, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to put that in there. I
Okay, no,
changed it
you
to
just
other.
caught me off guard there, 'cause
Okay, so the on-site, other on-site fire suppression shall be on-site. Like for catches fire on the ground, so we don't have
Water storage
the massive
and or fire
fires
suppression
that are expected.
One of the
and or fire suppression.
One of the changes in your, potential changes in your wind regs was under fire protection, where essentially, fire protection plans submitted to emergency management, fire districts, and then those conversations are had through that planning, and then annually updated. And so I think it'd be fairly easy, so maybe you put a pin in it until you look at your wind regs and see if you like that section. If you do, it's something we could easily copy over to solar.
Okay.
Then they'd be consistent.
Yeah, that's a good idea, make them consistent.
anything else on 6? Move to 7.
Yeah, sorry, Bill.
8,
Chloe has a question.
go ahead.
Thank you. So on section 60, permit applications, on section D, regarding the affidavit of publication, one of the situations we've been meeting up with recently is that publication has been done in places like Casper, which is 2 hours away. Nobody here gets, I mean, a lot of people wouldn't have any reason to get the Casper paper. So is there any way to incorporate in this a change of some sort so that general circulation is general local circulation, as in something we would get? I mean, perhaps within the county or some kind of wording to protect us so that they can't use the excuse of, oh, we advertised in Teton County, so it should be fine.
So in Title 18, there's a part where the commissioners that designate a newspaper for the county, so all of the minutes go in there, but all of the public hearing statutes do say general circulation, and I did used to agree, but when the newspaper stopped, then there was no place to
Had to
publish
do it somewhere.
And so if it followed that same, so general circulation, but I think the point is throughout to make sure it's specific to a Platte County paper if available. And so, but then that allows that if there is no paper, that there
It
is
can go to-
something else to publish in, but the first option has to be a paper within the county
I like that.
if it exists. And so if that's the case, we'll need to probably make some changes in other sections, but
What section is that? Malcolm?
We're in D, right?
D on page 6.
Government applications.
So local if possible. If available.
Is there,
Got a question?
is there any desire or use to consider digital publications? We're focusing on paper, and many people currently use digital information as much as more than paper. So I'm wondering if one of those backups should recognize digital sources of information as well.
I don't have a problem with that.
I mean,
No, but all of our newspapers are digital anyway, so if you have a subscription to the newspaper, you should be getting a digital copy.
Yeah, but there are other things that are not necessarily associated with a printed newspaper. And I'm just asking, do you have a desire or a need to use those other sources for dispersing information to the people who can?
so realistically, this section should probably just be removed because Laura takes care of the affidavit of publication anyway. She's the one doing publication. In other sections, it talks about she has to also post it on the county website. And so I think we could make that clarification that really that's a function of the planning office to make sure that publication is, that notice is filed, it's on the website, it's in a paper, in a local paper if available. And so we
So when
could,
somebody does a permit, that's in like the processing fee, all the public notices and the.
No different than it
the-
ever has
The
been.
planner does all of that.
so like this
But
section
not the company. Okay.
somewhat bugged me in the wind also because
Mhm,
really that's a function that Laura's doing, so
mhm.
we can,
But there again, it's no different than what we've done for 20 years, 25 years, correct?
yeah, and it's in conflict with other places in the code, so I think we should work on it to make it consistent.
Okay.
But it will say website also.
Anything on page 7? Page 8? What? Chloe, go ahead.
Thank you. On section J, drainage, erosion, dust control, et cetera.
Page 7.
I'm sorry, I don't
Yep.
have the same, I have it, but I don't have it separated out like that. DC section J, F is effects of on irrigation.
Mhm.
Is it possible to add in and wells? Or add wells in somewhere in here, because the effect on folks' wells are really urgent. A lot of homesteads out there just have wells.
Add a section
Is that
G.
part of the state?
I think,
The wells.
I think that, there's something.
This was a section in your wind regs where you did also accept a few changes that, I don't know if it totally addresses wells, but it says a mitigation plan that addresses risk of erosion and flooding, including flooding on all adjacent upstream, downstream properties, so I don't know if that fits, but.
Which is, it states that in there too, as far as the effects.
Barb Fletcher. I personally, because I have a well and live from that, I think wells should be addressed specifically. Add, you've got A through F, add G.
Actually, the G.
You did
Oh,
say that
GNH,
again?
okay, HI. I can't see that from this.
Okay, I
Part
got
of
what
it,
she said.
adding a section
It says wells.
specifically addressing it.
What's the board's
No.
desire?
I thought it talked about it
I need
somewhere in
to-
groundwater,
Yeah,
but I'm not sure, I can't find it.
I'm not finding it right now either, but I'm pretty sure it's.
I thought there was a deal they had to show groundwater. I'm not finding it.
We might test wells. Let's see here.
So do you wanna add,
I don't have a problem with that, I
I-
just think it's already in here somewhere, I think.
well, let's add it under I. And if we come across it in the next 3 or 4 pages and we need to strike it, we can. Does that make sense, Malcolm? Laura?
Yeah.
Okay.
Domestic wells or just wells in general?
I'd say just well
I'd
in
say
general.
wells in general.
And do you wanna make them actual certified wells with the state, or just wells that people put in?
Wells.
Just wells?
Just leave them alone.
Okay.
Wells.
Say well.
Anything else on page 8? Since we added that to I.
On the one right below that, if we could please, it says for K,
Mhm.
instead of 500 feet, can we add to half a mile of any airport?
Okay, right.
I think we talked about that, did we not, in the wind, and talked about the FAA? Wouldn't they have to
Wrong page.
be the ones to offer up setbacks? Is that not how we left that in the wind?
When we, I don't know exactly how it was
I think
written,
we
because
did.
when we've been reading the regs,
We put the
it's
well.
not
Can,
exactly.
can anybody, can you answer that question for me, or for the room?
And then I'm just
What
talking
does-
about where-
How does FAA govern or oversee what you guys may do?
Sure.
What's the-
Yep, so whenever we permit, or
If you
develop-
would too, I know
Yeah.
if you would say your name, just
Sure.
at least one time so we have it in the minutes. I'm not
Absolutely.
trying to be, just need to make it consistent.
Sure, I'm Anthony Bianchini, project manager for the Chugwater Energy Project. We go through a thorough process with the FAA and the DoD for all of our developments. There is a screening tool that the FAA publishes that we use. We use aerospace consultants, and the purview of the FAA is on public airports with instruments. And we make sure that there's adequate setbacks from all public airports. And we also take into account things like glare and other aspects like that. So it's governed by the FAA to a reasonable extent.
Thank you, Anthony.
You did leave it at 500 in wind.
Well, I think, we discussed it back then, they're gonna tell us what it's gotta be.
Right.
If they want us, they want them 500 feet back, or they want them
5,000 feet back.
5,000 feet back, they're gonna tell them where they can put it. I don't think we need to change it.
Show them what the wind, the wind, the airport was, huh? I think it was.
Anything else on 8?
Hold up a second, please.
Under
Can I,
site
can I
and
give you guys a flyer on this? This is really for wind, but you need to have it. This is how far airstrips, based on how high the turbine
I'm
is.
sure
But
that,
so I don't think it was 500 feet. I
Well,
don't think we agreed on 500 feet.
I'm
That does
just-
not seem right, but so you might as well have this.
FAA is gonna tell them what they need to do. There's no doubt in my mind. Now, if they come out and check it, that's another
I think you already have these.
course, who knows? Anything else on 8?
On Q, the site and facility reclamation decommissioning plan.
Yep.
Little b, provisions for removal of structure debris and associated equipment on the surface to a level not less than 5 feet below the surface. Thoughts on adding or is otherwise specified by landowner? I hadn't thought about this a whole lot until last meeting where Marty talked a lot about roads, where the landowner may choose to leave a road. Does this just give the landowner, if there's some structure out there that's beneficial to them at the end of the project and they want it? I don't know. That's,
I personally like it, and I can just speak from, when we sold water to the power plant, everybody's contract monetarily was the same, but the provisions in the contract of if the pipe stayed, if the pipe left, if you wanted the pipe, did you want it buried, that was all between those two parties, not, it wasn't a county forced issue.
I think that's.
Well, I can see what he's talking about. There might be some building out there that's used
It could
in
be.
something to do
The
with
lid
it.
breaker.
O&M building,
shade
and
for your
all of a sudden they
animals.
don't need it. Go ahead, Anthony.
Mr. Chairman, I think you can expect the same thing in our industry. It's case by case basis.
Right.
Landowners have a lot of
Should
thoughts and
specify
feelings
that
and
in the-
preferences that they choose to exert and work with us on.
I like to add that, I like
Should it
that.
be- Yeah, it should be specified.
Add to discretion of the landowner.
Yes.
I think, so leave 5 feet below surface unless otherwise specified by landowner.
Yep.
So the preset is 5 feet, but the landowner has the ability to
To change that.
change
Right.
it out.
Couple things on the decommissioning.
Okay.
Section, I think it's really important that does it state anywhere that prior to receiving the siting approval, that they should come up with this plan? Does it say anywhere in these regs? That this should be done before and not after they've been given permission? It has to be all done, the decommissioning plan has to be completed before.
It's part of the permitting process.
Does it say it
Just to have a
somewhere?
decommissioning plan. I believe it does.
Yeah, so
It's gonna be part of the industrial siting process
It
as
is,
well.
yeah.
Yeah, it says it right there in the front, doesn't it? I
So
mean,
for
right
ours, so this is still under 13-15-060, which is permit application. An application for an SCF to establish shall comply and contain the following, or it shall include, and then it would be that site reclamation plan. So that's part of the application.
Okay, does it say anywhere that there should be no damaged or decommissioned solar panels disposed of in Platte County? Does it say that anywhere yet in our plan?
I don't think we've got to it yet. have we? So are we good with 8? We're moving on to 9.
Can we add that to the decommissioning part? About the solar panels? Or is that gonna?
So say what,
She wants to
say that, you wanna say that they can't be,
Cannot be disposed of in Platte County, correct? Toxic, extremely toxic. They're gonna have to find somebody who will take them, not in Platte County. Very important.
I guess I agree with you on that, if they're gonna be disposed of toxic.
Yeah.
But there again, we don't wanna shut the door so that some company can't come in and,
But they can find other places to dispose of them, but not
but
Platte
maybe we
County.
want that company down the road.
Pardon me?
Maybe we want that company down the road, just like Jay was talking, new technology might come in and say,
you wanna have a toxic dump in Black County.
We don't
Is that
know
what
what,
you're saying?
what I'm saying is, we don't know what's gonna happen down the road as far as the technology of disposing of them.
I'm
And
just
we-
trying to look out for the water and the, you know, actually.
I understand, and I am
the-
too, and I think we are, but we gotta word it so that we're not shutting the door on a new company coming in.
But they
take care
can
of
find, it as part of their decommissioning, they can find a
Transfer
place
station type
That already does.
that does that. I just think it does not need to be in Platte County, that's just my point. I think we should not allow Platte County to be have toxic waste from solar panels.
I agree. Something about that in there.
And I
Well,
think we
it
did
kinda
the same thing
addresses
in
it
wind. We did the
on
same
not-
thing in wind.
On page 12N, has a decommissioning plan.
What, Jenny?
Where are you at, 12?
On page 12N. So what I take from it, you work with the Platte County Board of Commissioners.
So yeah, it does say that.
Did you find it?
What we were just reading on too, but also on page 11 in, I, it doesn't say that it can't be disposed of in Platte County necessarily, but
Solid waste.
it talks about solid and hazardous waste.
Well, it's just kind of insurance for the county,
Mhm.
you know what I'm saying? That way it doesn't leave it up to commissioners to have to worry about it.
I think the point is, the plan needs to be executable at the time of application,
Right,
not something that's developed later.
in a 5-year period.
Well, and they have to have it, the plan set up
Uh-huh.
before they can even get
It's-
committed.
It states that.
An executable plan,
How
not,
we're gonna,
Not an amendment,
dispose of all the
not an
stuff.
amendment.
Page 11, page 12, decommissioning.
We're talking about getting rid of them after they're.
I.e. Guernsey landfill, right.
No, you're fine. Take your time.
Where we at?
Well,
Page 11I, page 12N.
And in our,
getting rid of the waste.
in the wind regulations, we changed that same paragraph, that solid waste or hazardous waste, to say that all solid waste and hazardous materials related to the construction, operation, and maintenance of a WEX facility shall be handled, stored, or disposed of in accordance with the approved waste management plan and in accordance with all applicable federal, state, and county laws and regulations. So we could just say
But
that.
Just do
Why
that.
would we just say that?
I also,
I'm good with that. So just,
Bonnie, did you read it said constructive waste products?
it does say
Yes.
construction.
This is the decommissioned
This is,
waste products that we're talking.
These are the
it's,
broken
it
panels.
says that all solid waste and hazardous materials related to the construction,
And construction, not decommissioned.
operation, and maintenance. But as part of the decommissioning plan, any materials used so far, that's what has to happen to them.
Maybe we should add maybe we should add those words
Is there gonna
there.
be additional materials in the decommissioning?
No, it'll be the destroyed materials.
The toxic ones that leak.
It doesn't seem like it would hurt to add the word decommission to that.
We could add decommissioning to that.
I like what you got, just put it there. Be consistent.
That's what we came up with at our last meeting for that, so.
Well, I mean, what about adding the decommissioning to that? That way it covers all phases, right?
Yeah, construction or decommission.
All the way through, and you're not left with broken panels standing in the field. Like Scott's Bluff, right?
Yeah.
Kind of laying out there.
What, 2 years later?
Yeah.
I'm all right with that, whatever. I look at really others not much.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna make a hell of a shit, so put it in there.
Right.
I'm fine.
Yeah. Because truly, the
What page
landowner,
is that?
the landowner is going
We're
to,
gonna also
I
add.
would think,
Add decommissioning to I,
Uh-huh.
copy the one
And
from
then,
wind,
yeah, you can just copy what we have from
and
the
add decommissioning.
wind
Yes.
one.
See,
On
here
both
they have
wind
it,
and
here
solar
in,
then?
if you go on to page 12, it talks about decommissioning plan
Mm-hmm,
on end, so
right,
we have it already covered twice now.
right.
I don't think we need to put it back in that other spot.
I think as long as it's noted in decommissioning, we're good.
Yeah, I think we've got it covered at
Somewhere.
least twice.
And not only is that mentioned right there, but it's also on page. It's on page
11, we put it in there
Which one?
under waste. Solid
Where do
waste.
they say it has to be, decommissioning plan has to be done?
Under,
They were wanting to put it in here as
oh, on
another,
the,
under 8, after
on
8.
on the hazard, oh,
But it talks about the decommissioning plan here in F.
right.
Well, it talks about it and too.
So I think we've got it covered several times throughout the, so I think we're on to page 12, right? We're good on 11 now. Okay, so now we're on to 12.
Oh, I know what I did.
Extra pages.
On 12?
That's what I did. We're on page 12, yes. And see, right there, we're talking about decommissioning and
Taking over Dave, looking over Bill, touch stuff along.
getting the solar in
So
for me.
wind are on this together.
We're gonna just combine them all.
Well, they are very similar
They are.
anyway, but
And we're talking about an annual review.
And we got a question.
And then I think
Go ahead, ma'am.
I do know now when I was going through part of this, some of the things in your Pratt County one that are different from Goshen, you guys have like property owner, or you might have owners, so what does owner mean in all these places? I don't know in your definitions what owner means, and I didn't bring my copy. And now seeing this, under N, county, any lesser or property owner, et cetera, that reminded me, I think those definitions are pretty
I think
important.
right here, under N.
So I don't know what your Pratt County owner says, what an owner is.
the applicant, owner operator.
Do we have that?
And in the wind regulations, we also changed that to be something else, didn't we add something else on there too? To be owner,
Where it says county, any leaser or property owner. We changed that.
These are just examples of the affected, potential affected parties.
That's what I would say. So I
They're
would
just
do that.
examples.
Yeah.
But I think to Terry's point, that decommissioning section does intermingle owner of the,
Company,
solar facility and landowner. And so I think our task will be anywhere that it says applicant, owner, operator, we need to insert of the SCF, just to make it clear. So. We'll go through it.
well, it does say,
Because Terry's point is like on O, we read, applicant, owner, operator shall submit to the planning office, report. We read that assuming it's owner of the facility, but just make it clear that it's not the landowner who's responsible.
Right,
So that's an easy one, we can go through and add that.
So we're just gonna make it more consistent.
the
throughout, right?
applicant.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what we changed it to in the.
You know, in the wind, we changed every one of those to
That's what I
applicant,
was just
owner,
saying, yeah.
what was it, you? Can't even remember.
Yeah.
Parent company,
Parent company
owner, and
and operator,
Right,
operator,
You
right.
wanna
So,
transition those into the solar also?
Mhm.
owner and operator.
And I think we'll need to,
And then like Malcolm said, and, or of the SEF.
and we need to make that same on the wind, because we did not put that in where it would be of the WEX.
Of the
It's
WEX.
implied, but we'll make it very clear.
I think that
It
in
does-
Boston,
does
it
say
was a
that.
or,
It does say
that
of the
it was-
owner, it does say of the permitted solar energy facility, right there in the S.
Go ahead.
sorry, my read of the most recent regulations on the wind was that it had an or in many of those places, so that it fit for the circumstance.
A multiple of.
Parent
Parent
company,
company, owners,
owner,
or
operator,
operators.
operator. I don't remember one.
It was applicants, comma, parent company, comma, owners or operators.
Owner, operator.
I think the task is just clearly delineate landowner, owner of the facility. Just
Right.
what our expectation is of the applicant, parent company, owner of the facility, and what our expectation of the landowner is.
On page 12, are we on page 12?
Yeah.
Okay, instead of 1 year,
On what part?
On where?
I guess it's,
Yeah.
my copy's kind of funny.
What letter?
Oh, in, toward the bottom again.
Under decommissioning,
Yeah,
Right.
there's like 3
fourth line
lines from the bottom.
Mm-hmm. Right here,
It says 1 year decommissioning
right there.
Yeah.
after cessation. I think it should be shorter than that. If it's not operating for 6 months, then, I mean,
Well,
I guess the complete decommissioning should be done in 6 months after,
the.
what is that anyway? I think it should be less. Let's see.
I say we leave it as it is.
I
6
think
months
so
is a
too.
pretty short order.
and really that part just says how long the county
The
has to
county,
access
yes. Right.
this facility and the
Yes.
I'm
funds.
thinking of something else, sorry.
And so
I think that's.
Is there a place where it says when they stop producing electricity?
in wind,
In the wind it has it.
Yeah, we changed that.
And it's 12 months.
so
I think it should be shorter, 6 months, but we can figure it out later.
But how long does, I mean, I just looked it up and it takes anywhere from 12 to 18 months for them to decommission a solar facility. And it could be even longer than that if it's a larger solar facility, so you don't wanna
How long?
put a restriction on there that's impossible for a company to actually decommission in.
Well, actually, all they'll do is they're gonna hurry and not do a good job.
Right, and then you're
How
gonna
long
have
is it?
accidents.
How long is it? How long?
12 to 18 months.
Or longer if it's a larger facility, a solar facility, is that correct?
that's correct. And I think that plan would line out what the timeline is. In your wind, you said if a WEX tower is not functioning as intended, is not repairable, shall be removed according to the decommissioning standards, costs shall be borne by applicant, parent company, owner, operator. So that was the point, I think that Lucinda was getting towards, that if they're
If they're on.
in disrepair or not usable, there's an expectation maybe.
At least start the
Decommission and not
decommissioning within 6 months.
I think that's Lucinda's point.
Yeah, but that may not be in here, it may not even be in here. Is there anywhere in the decommissioning, or in the setup, I guess it might be in design standards, I didn't see that there should be some kind of a catch system built under the solar
Like a catching.
to catch water and whatever would come from those panels when it's hailed, if they're damaged, if it snows on them and that drains down to catch any water that's gonna come off of those,
Or any toxins.
or toxins from these products,
Is that
from
what
getting into the groundwater.
Would you
Like
think
you
that'd be
would-
up to the landlord?
Well, the problem is,
No, it
Water.
affects my water too.
water
So
goes
let me ask you a
underground.
question, Lucinda.
Just like we have
You
places,
catch, here's 600 acres, okay? And you put a dam around it. Now all that water has to go into that 600 acres. If you don't put a dam around it, it might disperse to 1,200 acres and Mother Earth is gonna filter it better than catching it. I'm lost, what makes you think that's a good idea?
Mother Earth does not clean up the toxins we're talking about, Marty. That's the problem. That's the
So
problem.
it's still gonna go in the ground is my question to you. No matter if there's a dam around or not, it's still going in
I'm
the
talking
ground.
about like a plastic like you put for, double lined plastic, some kind of thing, that would catch everything so that you could pump it out and haul it off to your toxic waste.
Okay, so there again, I think that's up to the landlord. What if he wants to graze sheep under it and now it can't grow vegetation? Why is that a county issue?
Because the groundwater is a county issue.
Yeah, because we
Groundwater
live,
goes
we live
under
out
all of
there.
us.
it will poison your water.
And when it does, it's too late. These chemicals are so toxic that we can't, it would be more to go after. How do you once it's contaminated? That's our most valuable resource is water,
And right below it is the aquifer.
and then the aquifer.
What, Kevin Little,
Back there in the corner. Yes,
Kevin Little, Environmental Services, what was the recommendation? I missed.
To
Put a
like
liner under
pond
the-
liner type
Secondary
thing or
containment.
something to keep
Under the,
all the water from going in the ground.
For the entire facility?
Mm-hmm. Because we like our clean water in Wyoming.
I personally think it's unreasonable. That's just my opinion.
I agree.
What's done for agriculture? You see all those catchment ponds for runoff from fields for, I see them everywhere. They're required to catch this water.
Not many of
In
them are
these
lined
ponds
though.
with the tires sitting all around them and such, are from the feedlots and such. What's the standard there, the comparable standard?
I don't, there aren't many of them that are lined.
Brooks
Do,
says,
do we have?
One,
James,
I don't
do
even
you
know
have
what
one?
happens to our sewer water.
I don't have one.
Where's our sewer water? What happens to that?
It's
It
not
was on
lined.
Marty's farm.
Marty's farm?
Yeah. The city lagoons have been there since 1910.
And
They're not lined.
They just gradually leach out and Mother Nature takes
Yeah,
care of it.
and none of the groundwater in that area has been
That's not toxic
contaminated
chemicals
yet.
either.
It's not
Well,
the
how do
same
you know what
thing.
people put down their drains though? It could be, I mean, you don't know.
And that's very true.
That's
Yeah.
true.
But we know these are
But-
toxic.
Yeah, we do know these are the super
Well-
toxins.
The thing that you don't understand maybe is that this affects the water aquifer and that goes over 7 and 8 states. You may look at being sued because you're contaminating that aquifer.
I can't argue that, but I don't think it's our issue. I would think DEQ and EPA is gonna be the first line of defense that's gonna tell them whether it's acceptable or not the county.
4 employees in the DEQ.
Well,
It's just like you guys use the excuse, who are you gonna have patrol some of this stuff? I get that. So if we would protect ourselves with a liner of some such, then we could protect the water. The only source of water these people have up on this place is those wells. And when you test your wells and it comes up that there's toxins in there, that's too late.
Right.
what happens now if you test your well and it's toxic?
What happens if when?
Right now, what happens? If you go test your well and it's not,
It's abandoned,
so you drill another one.
if you can.
Well, I mean, it happens. I don't think that's our issue.
water is not the county issue.
It's not, it's.
I'm not saying that it's not our issue.
Priority.
I'm a huge water fan, but I'm saying EPA and DQ are gonna tell them what they have to do.
You
No different than you asked Mark, no
They
different
have
than you
to
said
go on
Brooks's
them.
pond's line. The government told Brooks, line the pond.
Mhm.
That's it. End of discussion.
And correct, but then you've also got requirements on how you use your particular water. There's requirements there, we're trying to protect the water. But
I get it.
under fuel storage, they have to be lined as well if they go over a certain size.
Absolutely. We have that on the farm. But there again, I do that
So
because of
why is-
DQ and EPA, not because of county regulation.
Right.
Two more questions and then we're gonna move on.
Yes, thank you. In the purpose statement, that paragraph that you know is in all of these chapters, it does very much specify that the purpose of these regulations is to preserve and protect public health and safety, to reasonably preserve and protect our natural resources, et cetera. So while you're saying it's somebody else's responsibility, you've already specified that that's one of the purposes of our regulation here, is to protect these natural resources and protect our health. So there's gotta be a balance somewhere in there. I understand you don't want a bunch of overlap, but the purpose of our regulations is to do that. That's what you already said.
And I think the regulation for that particular comment will be from DEQ and EPA. That's my opinion. Other board members can speak up. Or not.
But the public.
I'm really confused because the government not only pushes the use of solar panels for stock wells, but they cost share on them.
Well, they're also, we know that energy through the wind turbines is a
No, we're on solar,
pseudoscience.
Jill, for now.
And solar, yes,
Well,
because
it's a
it's
matter of
not as
scale.
efficiently.
It's a matter of scale. I have solar pumps
It's
on
not
my
as
property.
efficient.
Very true. But those are 1 pound or 2 pound, not thousands of
Not
pounds.
thousands of pounds.
So it's a matter of scale.
And that's also an issue when you're going down that road, the guys that have these solar panels for their, if there's damage, they quickly go out and do something because they need the water. So they have to take care of it.
I agree,
Damage.
we water a lot of cattle with solar,
Well, wouldn't you think that the solar
but I've
company's
never
gonna
seen
go out and
any
repair the
dead
same panel?
wildlife underneath the panels.
Repair it,
Or
correct,
cattle.
but I think you're getting the picture a little bit overblown. It's like a windshield on your car. When the water comes off that, it goes down into a drain and then is funneled real small, because we're not talking about acre feet of water. It's a small quantity that we're trying to capture. A small quantity. Maybe in a snowstorm or something like that, it could be as much as a coffee can comes off of one of these individual panels. Well, that all can be pipelined. It doesn't have to be this big, like, on the bottom of a pit. And then goes into a catch, and they can take care of it from there.
So, would you, are you telling me that it doesn't have to be lined?
Not like a feedlot pit, no.
So
It's
basically,
more
you're telling
like
me an earthen dirt dike around the property.
I think that's way overkill. What I'm thinking about is you see the advertisements for the rain gutters,
That's what I was gonna say, like a.
and it's simply all this stuff is coming off of it. In the back of the solar panel, there would be just a plastic catch that comes down and feeds into a pipeline, and the pipeline carries it off.
To a sump, I'm
Where-
guessing.
It could be a septic tank that they pump out on occasion.
But anywhere it ends up getting pumped out on, that's gonna just make that area toxic then, isn't it?
Well,
It's hauled
when
to,
you pull a septic tank, then it has to be specifically dumped in an area
Specific
qualified
area.
to receive it.
It would qualify for your toxic waste paragraph. At that point.
I do agree with what you're saying, but I still say DEQ and EPA is gonna mandate what they have to do.
Can you make sure?
Anthony, can someone, I can't make, I don't know, I don't deal with DEQ and EPA but once a year. And I don't like it, but they have to come once a year, so you get through it. I'm sure they're the same way. Can you enlighten me?
Yes, sir. The Water Quality Division of the DEQ governs and opines on all of these different areas related to water quality for all of our technologies. They're gonna opine on our industrial siting permit. We've had to meet with them in Cheyenne. There's, hundreds of employees at the DEQ.
That's not true.
This is something that is regulated by, as you said, the state and if need be, the federal government, if things got that far. I will say, I think this general sentiment is incorrect. The solar panels do not actually leach. Using the gentleman's example, they are much like a windshield. They are layers of different components, metal, glass, plastic.
Hey, you guys, if you would, try and refrain, I think they're respectful when you guys are talking, try and be respectful when he's talking.
But they're a corporation that are not of our county, Marty.
That's okay, just give them the respect of having his time, just like I try and give you the respect when you have your time. That's all I'm asking. Go ahead.
Thank you. There are several layers that protect the materials and the chemistry of the solar panels. This idea of leaching is incorrect. I think this is a moot point, and to the extent there ever was something that happened on any of our facilities related to water, it would certainly be regulated and governed by the Water Quality Division of the DEQ.
Thank you. I'm not trying to pick on anyone, you, I'm not, it's disrespect, that's it. Okay, at this time,
Can I ask, Mr. Vincenni, question? Does the industry have technology that could protect against the contamination from hailstorms and manage to collect those toxins? There are toxic chemicals in those panels, to be sure,
okay,
and they
let's get an
they
answer.
leach.
I
Do you
can't,
have-
none of us can answer
Do you
that.
have
Neither
technology
can they.
somewhere in
Yeah.
the industry?
Can you answer that, Anthony?
Absolutely, Mr. Chairman. There's a very real possibility, just like a windshield on your car, that a solar panel could break. As I said, it is insulated across several layers, and there's actually no leaching that occurs when something like that happens. So,
Okay, at this time, I'm gonna close it to public comment, bring it before the board.
So help me understand what our next step is. So we need to actually go ahead and approve these to go to public hearing or
Our next step is these proposed changes. We have a public hearing, we advertise for a public hearing so everybody can come back. And then we will read through them just like we're gonna do with the wind. And vote to either adopt or change or,
okay, so you want a motion to move these forward or how do you wanna do this?
I don't think we need a motion at this point, do you?
I think we do need a motion.
It's been a
Yeah, this is
discussion.
official meetings, so.
Yeah,
I don't know if there's any necessarily, there was a lot of pins and things that we need to go back and fix, and so,
Mhm,
I mean, it's up to you.
that's what I was thinking.
if you do make a motion, just, recommend approval.
with
Basically.
the
With the
proposed changes that we talked
changes.
about tonight.
And giving us some leeway to make sure that we captured what your intent is and make sure it's
And
what
that
you
doesn't,
want.
right, and that doesn't mean for you guys and for NextEra, it doesn't mean that they're final, we'll have a public review again, and that's when we'll finalize things. And we can always revisit, just like we're probably gonna do with the wind.
Yes, we are.
Okay, so, yes.
And they're not final until
they're
the
not
county
final
commissioner
either.
Right.
Exactly.
say yes or no.
So I guess I move that we go forward with the changes that we've done.
With the proposed changes of the solar energy facility regulation.
I like Bonnie's motion better, because she just well said it.
Make it.
And
Marty, I'm second. Put her down as a move it.
I don't need to say anything about further discussion, or should I?
I think, and if you could just, allow leeway for the clerk and planner to, incorporate the intent of the commission.
I think that's what we're doing.
Okay, I just wanna make sure that's clear.
And you'll revise them and then at the next meeting, we'll just. Well, do we need to have another meeting?
Absolutely, we have to have a
So-
public hearing.
Well, but I mean,
Yeah.
other than the public
But
hearing,
other than the public.
because this is not the public hearing on the wind
No.
Right, but
tonight.
we don't have enough notice at this point.
There's two things you could do. You could either, give us that leeway, we develop it, we start publishing it for a public hearing, or we develop it along with whatever changes you make to WIN tonight, and then bring it to you at the next meeting, here's everything we discussed, and then at that point, you could make specific changes. It's up to you. If you wanna expedite, I think you give us some leeway. If
I want
you
to expedite, because I want to get both of these
Okay.
to a public hearing
So
Together,
together,
I would just
not
ask
6
them,
months down the road. I want to get it
right, but
next month or whenever
I
we can
don't-
get it.
I would say, yeah, it needs to be up to Malcolm and Laura to see if they can, how they can pull this off time-wise. Because I'm sure that this is not 100% of your time.
no.
New planner on the job.
Oh, we will.
There's a big list,
We'll work
this
as quick
is
as
one of
possible.
many right now.
I think that's all we can ask, just do the best you can do.
I just wanted to make sure the motion, it's clear that we'll have that authority to
make
Yeah.
other,
take your intent, we'll make some changes as we believe your intent was, and then we'll publish our public hearing. And again, at that public hearing,
Then we can make the changes if we need.
anything can be
we can have
changed.
further discussion at the other
Yes.
public hearing.
And I think we need to get the wind the same place so that when you publicize them, you get them both at the same time and we can.
Yeah.
Get it done.
And I think that we should also just do a general through the, even though I don't think we'll probably ever have geothermal. I mean, you never know. The other energy regulations, I mean, if we're gonna change the verbiage to be the same between the solar and wind, we should do it to the others while we're doing this, even if we don't actually make any other changes. You guys know what I mean?
Yep. You just want to be consistent on
Be
the,
consistent with it all.
okay, I have a motion on the floor. And did I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Carried. Let's move into the wind.
Marty, I can walk through this a little bit because I had a couple of areas that I wanted, maybe some clarification. So,
We're done with the way.
first up on, a lot of the
We're
changes
just
were.
gonna, time out, Malcolm, Lucinda's lost. We're just
The
gonna,
last time we were here, you said you were coming to this meeting to do solar.
Right.
and
which we
but
did,
also we
and
can look at the
this is- This
revised
is our old
wind.
business now. that
We're into
doing
old
this.
business.
And there's
Gotcha.
other,
Okay, Malcolm, go ahead.
Yeah, and I just wanna make sure that I captured what you were after, so, changed recs throughout, of course. On page 2, added the ADLS, definition as well as industrial siting.
yeah,
On page 3, I did take, some leeway here. I added nacelle, that was never really defined, so I just wanna make sure it's clear. Non-commercial WEX, parent company, planner, and setback. Setback's another one that I added. I think we take it for granted that we know what a setback is, but to make it clear to anybody else. And so those definitions were fairly be straightforward. 4, adding reconstruct, and a lot of that was off of Mike Kelly's discussion. 5 was really just Wex and then adding RAM instead of agricultural. Under signage, I did point to a different subsection so that I knew where we were talking. Page 6 starts the big change. So we talked about trying to clean this up a little bit, make it a little bit more readable. I'm not offended if you don't like it, you wanna go the other way, it doesn't bother me. I just tried to do, regardless of height, 1/4 mile from public roadway, state park. And then D was at least 1/4 mile, but not less than 3 times tower height from property lines that are contiguous. That was the one, Sherman Shockley was not sure the 1/4 mile was in there. He thought it was just 3 times the tower height. As I went back and watched the YouTube video, my note said 1/4 mile or 3 times. As I went back and watched the YouTube video, I think we're both right. I think there was discussion on the commission for both of those, and so I just wanna know from a property line, did I capture your intent, which was 1/4 mile at a minimum, regardless of height, and then 3 times the tower height if it's over, again, if it's over 240 feet, you're more than a 1/4 mile away.
That was from the property line,
And that's from a property line, yep,
that's what I had in my notes.
was 1/4 mile and 3 times.
Oh, but not less than 3 times.
Or less, or 3 times, whichever is.
Which is greater.
See, I have issue with that. I think that is way too far. I think you're taking too much property away from the landowner there.
So what are you thinking? The adjoining landowner has to have some buffer, if you will. The tower cannot fall on the neighbor's property.
I think that's the only thing
Cannot.
that statement should read is, I think that should read, the 1/4 mile should not be in there, and I think it should say 1.2 of the tower height. Because all you're trying to do with that line there is protect the landowner from that tower falling on their property. And if you're 1.2 or something like that, it's not gonna land on that property line.
I think ice sheds have been shown to go further than that. So if you're not going to include ice sheds, maybe you're right.
This isn't talking about ice sheds, this is talking about the thing.
We're talking about
The tower.
offsets, and the proper offsets should include consideration of ice sheds.
Let me ask you this, I see both sides, I'm trying to, clarification in my head. If your house is on the property line, it needs to be a 1/4 mile away from your house. But to me, just your property line and your house is 2 miles away. I'm trying to wrap my head around why it needs to be a 1/4 mile, why it couldn't be 1.5 or some distance to where, because it's obviously can't throw ice from the wind turbine to your house 2 miles away.
But you would accept ice being flung onto your property, no matter where your house is? I mean, your house is in a safe location, I hear you, Marty, and I understand your logic there. But I don't know that it's, a leasing, somebody that has a wind turbine on their land. I don't think it's his right to throw stuff onto my land.
Well, and I'm not, here again, I'm not being, I'm just asking questions, I don't, so when the wind blows dirt from my field to build, how do we, I mean, I'm just trying to wrap my head around how this all becomes relevant. I'm gonna ask a question right quick, Anthony, cause I don't know, I'm just, how often do ice sheds happen? Is that what you call them? Is that what you said, Tom?
Shedding of ice.
I need to learn, I don't know.
Yeah, like anything else, you know, on your house, sometimes ice does build up on our equipment. Most of the time it falls directly down, as you would imagine anything else. Modern wind turbines have a lot of anti-icing properties to them. It's not actually efficient to operate, you know, during those conditions a lot of the time anyway. So it's not very often, would be my answer.
And I'm just here again, I'm just trying to.
May I ask you a question? What
I'm
happens
just
if
trying,
one talk?
hang on a minute, I'm just trying to wrap my head around it too. So, to me, if a wind turbine has ice on one blade, it's gonna be out of balance and cause a shit bit of trouble. So I don't know this, do they shut themselves down when,
If they become unbalanced.
I mean, if they become unbalanced, because I can see where it could be an issue.
I wouldn't say that they become unbalanced, but yeah, to your point, they do shut down if the wind turbines are operating out of normal procedures or characteristics. You know, these systems they have internal brains on them. You know, for the manufacturer, they're also operated at our 24/7 control facility. So all these things are monitored 24/7, and if there's any anomalies, we shut down typically for precaution.
Okay, now, Tom,
No,
Keith.
or Keith,
There have been
Thank you.
numerous demonstrated ice sheds at Round Top between Laramie and Cheyenne. And some of those ice sheds have actually closed roads. That's a demonstrated fact. So I don't think the business of ice sheds are rare in this part of the country. They're not that, they are common.
And I just got information that ice shedding in Wyoming from turbines called an icing event happens 5 to 15 times a month per DEQ. Furthers, ice has been flown and documented in Wyoming 1.1 miles. So, and imagine, if they're anywhere near Pioneer Road, I think this was Catherine's point when she was here. That road oftentimes in bad weather is used when I-25 is closed, that's where people go. You increase the chances of a car being hit and maybe a person being killed. Or something horrible. Once is enough.
well, once is too much.
It's too much, exactly, that's what I meant, Marty. We can't have it happen.
There's
Can't have it
there are
happen.
other setbacks to take into consideration
I mean,
for the dwellings and platted subdivisions
And what about
and
Pioneer
residential
Road?
zoning, but we're talking about a plot of land that's out there.
Yeah, I know, but if anything is close to Pioneer Road, that should be considered. And I think some of these probably are.
And our current, and then the proposed do say 1/4 from public right of ways.
1/4 from public roads or right of ways.
And what's the right of way?
May I bring up something else, please?
Sure.
I've been holding up my hand.
You're okay. You don't need to hold your hand up, it's okay.
Okay, well, I don't wanna just interrupt,
You're-
and
you're
I
good.
don't, I wanna go with what works for you. So, we have to understand also, it's not just ice shed we're talking about coming off of these. We're talking about shedding in general. These shed fiberglass, they have a thin layer of paint on them, they shed other things. And especially due to the wind wear here, the large amount of hail we get here, stuff is, everything you own here in Wyoming is constantly battered, and stuff is always wearing off of everything here. It's no different for these, because they're, especially since they're spinning up there, they are shedding stuff onto the land around them. So we're not just talking about ice shed and somebody being speared by an ice, projectile. We're also talking about general spreading of the stuff that drops off. These things fracture with distress over time. And I have a number of articles I could give to you from very good sources. Even GE, one of the manufacturers, talks about what to expect with shedding and such. So these setbacks are about the land as well, not just the houses. What do you want your neighbor's garden to get from what you are putting up above them? I mean, your neighbors have got, crops on the property next door, not just animals and people.
So what say you, Bill? Bill, I'm right next to the fence?
I would be fine with them, yes, because I don't want them telling me that I can't build something right next to my fence. And that's the way I'm looking at this. By having that in there, you're telling you as well as me that I have to stay back a quarter of a mile from my property line with anything I do.
But you guys are doing that now with setbacks for buildings or garages, heights on buildings, restricting 2-story.
We don't have
to
setbacks on
1-story.
county.
They're in there.
On what?
There's not setbacks on the county. I don't have to stay back a quarter of a mile from my property line when I build a building.
I didn't say a quarter mile, Bill. There's setback.
There is a setback from your property line.
Again, keep in mind, there are 70 people that live within 1 mile. 70. We don't know how many people are gonna be driving down Pioneer Road in the winter, too. So, I mean, this isn't, and people on both sides of the fence have property rights.
That's what I'm trying to get across, ma'am.
They have a right
You are
not
not-
to be thrown ice on their property,
But that's the problem I see, ma'am,
right?
is you are not taking in consideration their property rights. If we go with these setbacks right now, this one section of land, I'm using this as a demonstration, they are giving up a quarter of that section to the setbacks. Because if somebody lives here, 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 and here, you go a quarter of a mile around, you're giving up a quarter of that section of land. Are you willing, on your 25 acres or whatever you have, are you willing to give up a quarter of your land? And that's exactly what you're asking them as leasees
Which is
on the
more
tower.
important, the people or the turbine? I mean, are you?
It doesn't matter. I'm looking at the
As a
property.
planner, related to the county commissioner, you have to look out for the health of the people. So I'm thinking,
How do we know
this
that
is
your land
different.
is?
This is different than putting a turbine where there are no people, though. This is the problem. This is coming in on people. So I think you might have to give up some of that land where there's people involved. I really think so. I think
And then
you
we're
have to
doing
look
that.
at
We're doing that with the quarter mile away from your residence.
There's people involved, it's 5.5 times the time.
But I think you wanted less than that. You talked.
No, I'm
you
talking
wanted
about-
right up
He's
to-
talking
We're
from the
talking about
property
just
line.
of a property line. So I might still have a mile of land. or-
Between
Be-
between their property line and your house, there might be a mile of property. The way this is reading, they cannot build a tower within a quarter of a mile or 3.5 times the tower height
3 times.
Of the line.
of the, 3 times of the line.
That's
So that's
fine.
1,500 feet. That's over a quarter of a mile.
But the potential, if the ice goes a mile though, you have to think about that. So maybe it should be a mile from that property line. Instead of a quarter. Instead of a quarter. So
Well,
you should
like I
increase
say,
it. You should
I
increase
feel
it.
you're giving up, whoever's doing this is giving up too much land, is my feeling. So,
You guys, maybe this is premature, maybe it's not. Do you have a preliminary site plan map
Yes.
that show where the turbines? Could you just tell us, what's the closest turbine to
The property
a
line?
property line? Is there any, can you enlighten us?
We are basing our site plan on the current regulations. So we are gonna be in compliance with the current regulations.
I understand you're gonna be in compliance, but is there any way you're gonna be farther?
Sure.
I mean, I'm just trying to, I wanna make sure everybody is somewhat content. And I'm just trying to wrap my head around,
I don't
if you
think
guys
there's-
could supply us with the site plan
I don't
map.
think
Yeah.
there's that much difference.
Yeah, we're happy to do that.
I mean, I'm
Tony,
hearing
would you
what-
hand that?
I totally agree with the quarter of a mile away from
Oh,
somebody's
yeah.
house. I totally agree, that needs to be that close.
The number represents how many people are in
Marty,
each house is highlighted and then how
Can I-
many people live.
Present this to the chair.
Yeah.
I would,
I think we just got one of those.
no offense,
We
I
got-
would really
yeah.
caution making the decision based on what's currently
I'm
proposed,
pretty sure that's what we just handed over here to
at the
Marty.
state level. My encouragement and, some of the,
There are turbines.
because some of the advice received for the Board of County Commissioners has been,
We got a copy.
make the decision in general, not in reaction to a plan necessarily, so
Yeah, cause the next project may be totally different, and
Yeah,
these
and so-
regulations are supposed to work for all.
I think the advice is, make a decision based on what you think is good land use, not necessarily for this project in general, but just overall.
Okay, no, that makes sense.
And one of,
Safety overall.
and one of the, arguments for the quarter mile setback from a property line last time was, if you're the adjacent landowner, you could build a house, at or near your property line. And then that quarter mile would protect, like if your house was there already, so it gave you the ability to build it later. But then one of the other arguments against was then 80 acres, essentially, if you own 80 acres, you're totally excluded. And so those are just the two sides. I just need to know what your direction is.
What do you guys think?
Well, there's not really a lot of difference at between 1,500 or 1,250. I mean, if it's quarter mile or if it's three times if the tower is typically 500 feet, then it's 200. So that's what's a couple hundred extra. Leave it at 300, or three times, which is what we agreed to before, or that's what was in our regs before, or whatever.
I'm not
As far
agreeing to
as-
the quarter of a mile from the property line. I'm saying yes, quarter of a mile from somebody's buildings or somebody's house.
I see you, Jill. Just
But
keep
not
it.
less than 3 times.
Huh?
Our current regs say quarter mile, but not less than 3 times
No.
from the property line.
I thought they said 1.5 times.
Our current say 1.1.
Sorry,
It
1.1.
doesn't say
It
anything
does
about
say
the
1
quarter,
point, it
does it?
says 1.1.
That says a quarter,
Uh,
1/4 or 1.1
No, it
No, it
says,
says
you're, no,
1.1
you're right, it says 1.1.
from the property line.
It
All
does.
that line to me says is that we're trying to protect
1.1. And
from
we-
that tower falling
And
over
we
on
agreed
your
to change
property.
it to 3 times. So what do you wanna just leave it at 3 times?
No, I wanna leave it, take the
Or
quarter
just, you
mile
just
out and
wanna
just
leave
leave
it
it
at
at
1.1, how it originally
Yeah.
read?
Cause I think that's all that line needing to say. Because the other ones are, to me, are protecting us from our houses and our other stuff.
Well, and the other one's 5.5 times from a occupied dwelling.
Yeah, so you're covered there from throwing it to your house or, yes, there's an opportunity that it could throw it on your property, some ice and stuff, I understand that.
What do you guys think?
Well, I'd like to ask a question. Who has this wind farm on F.E. Warren Air Force Base, Cheyenne? You know, you take the turnoff right there by the Game and Fish, go by the Highway Department.
Well, Happy Jack Road,
Boom, right there, you see a tower right there.
it's right on the
It's too
highway,
close.
there's a
It's
tower.
too close.
There's Vandehei, all that residence there, all the way down. The governor's mansion is across the interstate. That's gotta be quarter mile away, gotta be.
2 miles.
Well, it's
And I don't know what Laramie County.
the state buildings are all right there.
Yeah,
2 miles away.
yeah, no, it's closer than 2 miles, it's right there. When you turn and look to the west, it's right there. And I'm kind of at a disadvantage because I live close to Converse County. I can see all the towers from our summer pasture, Boners,
And there's more,
Tillards.
more all the time.
Yeah. And I have never read anything about anybody getting hit with ice, vehicles, homes. I've never read anything about that.
Jay, all those people in Cedar Springs, wind farms up there have a 1 mile setback from their house.
Mhm.
All those people do. I've been up there, talked to them.
Well, I'd say the one down in Cheyenne on F.E. Warren is closer than that to the governor's mansion
Well, it
and the
might,
interstate.
might be, but they're too close.
They're
So
too
you-
close.
They're too
Right.
Keith, you
close.
said how much? I want to, what you said, again, how much?
The ranchers up there, all of their homes, the setbacks are 1 mile from their houses. I stood there at one fellow's house in his yard. He pointed to 3 towers, and these are the 2.8 megawatt towers. And they look like they're right on top of him. And he said, the key to my living here is that 1 mile setback. He said, each of those 3 towers is 1 mile. He says, with that, I don't hear them. So he told me the key to living amongst those things was 1 mile setback from your house.
Anthony, hang on, Jill had her hand up first, so hang on.
I did. A couple of things I would like to say and get in public. One is we gave you a lot of information. I understand you guys are very busy. This information was all in there in detail, and that's why we encourage you to read it. The other thing is I want to bring to your attention that this board loses trust from the public and we ask that the board avoid the practice of allowing outside corporations to give input and direction on our county regulations during our meetings. That is a public, I just wanted that in the record. We ask that you don't do that because they have other aspects in mind
That would be a
other than the
conflict.
best of what our county is bringing.
But it
Like
is a
Chloe
source
brought-
of
excuse me,
information for us.
Excuse me just a second, like Chloe said, in the very beginning of our regulations is the goal of what you guys should be doing. So I just ask that that's put in public record. Thank you.
Yep, thank you. Anthony, you had a question?
I was just gonna say, I don't know the comments about some of our projects and landowners to be necessarily true. All I would say is, that's up to the landowner to decide. At the end of the day, that is up to them to enter into a construct, an agreement with whoever to, to decide how far away certain things are gonna be from their infrastructure and property. And I would ask that to not limit that necessarily, because it could be different on a case by case and landowner by landowner basis.
Thank you.
Mayor,
Yeah, absolutely.
and while it with me, it does make sense that a landowner can make a lease and then they can say, I don't care if you're 200 yards from my house. But if you don't put some sort of a setback from homes, my house might be within a certain distance of someone else's wind tower. And so I need protected
I
by a
don't-
distance.
We're not
I
trying
don't
to
think, I
change
don't think
that.
anyone on this board is arguing that point at all.
Okay.
All of us wanna protect your home,
Right, but
but it's just if there is no home
There's no home present.
for 2 miles,
Why can't they
why
put the
can't they
tower
put
on
the
the line?
turbine whatever the number is away from their property line? That's our,
right.
I think that's.
That's the only thing I
just
have.
think that
The rest of them,
other
I'll put it right down. The rest of them are fine. I think gives you some protection and I realize there's ice throwing and stuff, but I think if you look at C, that's where it's covered. I just think B is got somewhere down the line, has got blown out with that 1/4 of a mile. And it should just be enough to keep the wind turbine, if it falls over, it's not landing on your property. And that's what that was meant to be back when it was first set up.
What do you think, Bob?
Am I reading it wrong?
I agree with you, Bill.
Okay. So I would like to see that change back to just saying
1.1.
1.1 times the tower height. And get rid of the 1/4 of a mile and the 3 and all that, just
What about, I'm just gonna throw it out there to keep it simple, math, do 1.5 times. Not that running a calculator is not hard, but
I think we were fine before.
okay.
I'm okay with that.
The Converse County regs, I pulled them up and they say 110% from adjacent line, 110% from a right of way, so our current regs, are 1/4 mile for right of way, 5.5 times from a, residence, so.
What does ours say, okay, help me figure, what does ours say from a roadway?
1/4 mile.
Quarter mile.
Okay, so we're good there. I agree, we need to keep them away from the highways. Or the county roads down there.
I also wanted to let you know Laramie County is redoing their regs as we speak. That's why they did not approve that and stopped the company from building that, because they understand that what they have done in the previous was incorrect and people are at risk. And you can talk with the planning and zoning down there if you would like.
So I mean, when we drive to Laramie, yeah, those are way too close.
They are way
You're
too
right.
close.
They're way
And
too
it's,
close.
and Ice Shed has killed a horse just recently, last year.
Okay, so 1.1, where are we at?
We're getting rid of the 1/4 mile,
Okay,
And the other setbacks you're all okay.
and the rest of setbacks, I think, are legit. I think B is the only one that we need to change.
okay.
Can I just say one more thing about that adjacent? Because, Bill, you gave a piece of paper
Mhm.
as
As a
a
section.
landowner.
A square section's what
I'm using this as a demonstration of one section.
a square mile.
I look at to me, the line is the line all around the entire project. That's the line, that's what, is that not what we're talking about?
No,
No, we're talking
the
about
tower.
the tower. From your,
Property lines
okay,
contiguous or adjacent to the WEX project.
right.
Do I not understand that? It's not everybody's property line.
Yeah, it is. The way it reads now.
so
Property
if,
lines contiguous? To me, it's the boundary. I'm thinking of the boundary.
But it's not. The way this is set up, Lucinda, is if there's an internal parcel, which there is, I can see it on this map. Those turbines have to be, according to what Bill's saying, 1/4 mile from their property line. Not perimeter.
Not the perimeter, the entire project.
It's, if that chair that Mark is sitting in is a wind turbine, okay?
Mhm.
And Anthony's chair is the property line. If there's 1/4 mile between the two, the way that we have it, it's fine, but if it's closer than that, they can't do it. And there might be 30 more turbines 2 miles away, doesn't matter, because it's a different property owner. It's from the property lines of different people's property.
Okay. So
See, the way I-
each individual property owner within the whole
Absolutely.
project.
Yes.
If you're internal, you have just as much say as the guy on the outside.
Okay.
So what Bill's saying is, and I think he's right, is
what I'm saying here, okay, this is the wind
Just
farm.
wind.
Just
that's
the wind farm.
That's the
This
whole
right
wind
here.
farm.
This, no, this is one section in the wind farm.
640 acres.
Okay,
One landowner.
one landowner.
Gotcha.
Okay, if your house is right here,
Here's another section.
this is your section that's right beside it. If your house is right here,
Yeah.
the wind turbine has to be 5.5 times away from your house.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
But if your house is over here, a mile away,
Mhm.
it still has to be 1/4 mile. And I don't think that's right, or
Yeah,
3
you're right.
times.
3 times, yeah, which is.
So what I'm saying is if your property comes up against this right here, and your house is a mile away from it, it's over here, there's no reason that wind turbine couldn't be built 1.5 or 1.1 times away from this property line. Because it's not going to affect you, because even if it falls over, it will not hit your property. Okay,
I was
that's,
think, I was thinking of it a different, yeah, go on. It's
that's
okay.
what reason
I'll
I,
have to figure this out.
and if you go on to read
Thanks, Bill.
line
Sorry.
5, or line C,
Yeah,
line C is where it protects you from it being built right to your house, by your house. If your house is on this property line, then they have to stay
5.5 times away.
5.5 times away from your house. You see what I'm saying? Okay.
Does that take into account though, I mean, there are health issues, like the shadow flicker and the infrasound that Catherine's talked about,
I guess the way I, yes, you're right. But every day we get up and we deal with health issues.
Well, I was just listening
You know,
to
I mean, we
Mr. Collins
do.
about the ones in Cheyenne, if they're in town. Obviously, the people that live in Cheyenne, they're a lot closer than 5 miles or 50 miles, the way this infrastructure.
I don't know if that's 500 feet.
So,
If you drive up that Happy Jack Road, I don't think they're 500 feet from the road.
And that's too close.
and that is too close.
And I agree with you, from the houses and the
That's why
roads.
they're changing
They're changing the
regulations.
reg.
But we're not gonna allow them to do that with
Quarter
these
mile.
setbacks.
let's move on.
Yeah,
So under
others.
E, little e, just so you know, I will have to add public right-of-way owner. So this is saying that entities can reduce setbacks if they sign a waiver, and it just
I would
didn't
agree.
include right-of-way.
I would agree.
And then F is this current language, I just added it there for readability. So 7 is the old setback language.
Yes.
8, signage, this is one,
He's on page 8.
That was Bill's. I mean, Marty.
Oh, yeah, you stole my paper.
And now we're on page 8.
Okay. Right back.
so page 8, you had a discussion about signage, and this was basically contact information for if there was an issue, something's on fire, leaking, whatever, there was a way to contact. So what it requires is there's a sign attached to the base and attached where the tower is located from a public right-of-way. So as you exit the public right-of-way, to get to that tower, there has to be a sign indicating what the numbers are, so it can be identified. And then if there's a fence erected, also on the fence. And it just outlines what was required in that.
sorry, could you update the screen, please?
Oh, sorry.
Thank you.
And then you'll remember that one of the issues was the proposed said property owner's name, and the decision was to strike that. So otherwise, this is fairly consistent with what, the only change is the actual language within the signage and the posting, because remember, we had that discussion and concern of the sign having to be in the right of way, because if it's county owned right of way, that's great, that's easy, but if it's somebody else's, and I say no, then what? So I think this fixes it.
Okay.
10, that just makes clear they have to be outfitted with ADLS, and that our goal is that they would not have blinking lights unless an aircraft, unless Bob's helicopter is getting close.
Sorry to interrupt. Real quick, on the setback, discussion, one thing I wanted to clarify is that, I think that all the discussion has been around towers, but when we include the WEX definition, that is a broader definition than just towers. It includes like cabling, electric transmission lines. And so I think that the language needs to be looked at to be more specific to towers and not to other facilities that are part of the WEX.
And, that was alluded to in the previous language, and so, that's my fault. I thought for some,
Also, Laura, on that, if you scroll back up a little bit,
Sorry,
there's just a typo on that, no, on page 10 there, just where, required by FCC, or FAA, not FEE. When lighting is required by.
Okay.
new federal agency.
Oh, nice.
Energy efficiency.
Oh, yeah, okay.
There we go.
So,
you.
is that, just to be clear with the board, like the transmission lines, that necessarily not concerned about the setback, but the tower is what the
Yes,
setback concern is?
Yeah.
Okay. So
We'll fix that.
I'll fix that, yeah.
You're
So-
talking about the wind generation tower, right?
Yes.
When you
Right.
say the tower, you're not talking about the line poles or anything like that.
Yeah.
Also, on, I don't know if we're down, are we on the fire suppression yet?
Well,
Not yet.
At the bottom of that?
So in Malcolm as well, in the definition of setback, I think that probably needs to be fixed as well because it references WEX in there too.
And to clarify, most of the electrical lines are buried from the farms I've seen. Is that correct?
Yep, that's
Yes,
correct.
sir.
okay, so on 10, fire protection,
My note said that we decided not to put any of that in there. Because we have, because it's in the regs already on E of that same section.
This is the.
say that again, what section is it in?
Well, so my note said that we struck all of that fire protection in our,
This whole
all of
amount.
this that they were proposing. Because it's in coordination with local fire department and emergency management coordinator. On page 14 of this
down
draft that we're working on. Therefore, we didn't need to add all of the other stuff. I'm not saying that I necessarily agree with all of it, I'm just saying that's what we had in the notes from the last time, is that we decided
Yeah,
to
and that was
leave
another-
out.
my notes, like, I crossed some stuff out and then crossed out my cross out, and I think that was a part where we kind of went back and forth. And in watching the video, I wasn't super clear, so
Yeah, I kind of agree with that, and then, but I guess my final, the big X on the page.
And I think that the difference would be on page 14 where you said go up bottom and then basically 15. It does say that they have to submit a plan. I do think the language on 10 and 11 gives a little more specificity as to what that plan is, and then also some follow-up. I'm open to, I mean, I just need to know what your intent is as board.
If I could, one area is that I think that this is where it starts to come in with some of the language regarding applicant, parent company, owner, operator. And one suggestion to simplify it would be when you're talking about somebody that, the portions of the regulations that refer to applying, that you refer to it as the applicant. And then once the regulations that are talking about after a permit has been issued, you refer to it as the permittee. And I think that then that would help provide clarity instead of having kind of a laundry list, that it's
No.
applicant for person, the entity applying, permittee for the entity that holds the permit that's granted. And I think that that would be consistent with how it's referenced in state statute through the industrial siding process in other counties.
Lucinda?
Okay, the reason we did that, because the history of what happens with these big wind corporations when they come in as an applicant, subsidiary after subsidiary after subsidiary, no one is left holding the stranded assets when they leave, unless we put that parent company in there and hold them responsible for the entire life of this project. And that is a way, their liens, their heirs, whoever, if we have to add that, we need to protect them for the entire, if they're planning, if they think this is a great deal for 30 years, we want them to be there at the beginning and at the end of the 30 years so they can cover the decommissioning and not, this is the history. We've read about this and that's why we included it, to protect the life of the project.
So you,
And that's what happened in Scotts Bluff,
No,
is an LLC took over.
I
and
do
it's not
understand,
clean.
I,
It's happened many
I'm fully
times.
aware that's how it happens,
Stranded
but
assets.
I'm having a hard time tracking that.
Mhm.
If they sell the company 10 years down the road and 20 years down the road, something happens that they're back on the line. I have a hard time with that. It should be the company in which they sold it to, wherever the permit is transferred to. I mean, if, that's like saying I sold my feedlot
Contract
5
doesn't
years
go
ago
with it necessarily.
and now all of a sudden, something in DQ is out
As
of,
long as they can follow.
they can't come back to me now, that's the new owner. Or if you sold your ranch 20 years down the road or whatever, they can't come back to you and say, hey, you were the original owner of this property. We found, who knows, asbestos in your house.
I wonder why this has happened then. How can we keep it from happening? Then we need to figure out a way to protect, figure out a better way.
I agree.
Okay.
I just think when, I think when the
I mean, I
permit,
understand, I get that language. That makes a lot of sense to say permittee. I like that. That's
so when,
very.
when the permit transfers, cause they'll have to come to the office, to the planner, and I say, hey, I wanna buy the
Well,
wind farm from Nextera, or Mark, I know it would never happen, you might say, I wanna buy that. Now, Mark comes online and he is where the buck stops, not,
I know, but.
not the company that
but
built
why
it.
does it happen that nobody comes? And then nobody's responsible. Well, that's not, they're subsidiary, you know, they're
The
not
new
part of
company would
us.
have to be bonded just like
Like the
We
original.
would hope, we would hope.
But it's
So
not happening.
it hasn't been happening, and that's the problem. We gotta figure out a
Mark, you
better
got
We
way.
have to find an avenue.
We gotta
No.
find a better way.
Anthony.
Anthony?
We're gonna be fully bonded for all decommissioning and reclamation. All of it. And
If there is a transfer to occur, DQ, Platte County regulations also specify bonding.
And if you do sell a company to somebody else, do they buy the bond as well, or do they come up with their own bond? How does that transfer usually?
I've lived this as a federal regulator, my previous career with the Army Corps of Engineers, and permitted this, Young Creek Mine, north of Sheridan, that was permitted by, Cloud Peak Energy. They went bankrupt, sold the mine to Navajo Transmission Energy. Navajo Transmission Energy had to come up with the same bond themselves, so that you don't transfer the bond, they have to prove their own.
They have to have their own
financial
bond
ability, yeah.
in order to operate.
And the way we can enforce that is, as long as your company's forthright, when the project sells, they have to come in.
You have to give me a permit.
So, and I think that's
I
the
got you,
wisdom
Mark, hang on.
in the, oh, I'm sorry.
You're fine.
I think that's the wisdom in the permittee language is, we've seen it before where, sells and then they don't come in to get a permit for whatever reason, right? And so it leaves whoever sold the company holding the bag on bond, reclamation, all of these responsibilities. And so I think there's a lot of, wisdom in permittee because whoever sells it is going to ensure that the purchaser got the permit in their name. So they're not holding the bag on any of this. So it might alleviate some concerns we've had in the past, but make it clearer.
Mark?
It doesn't work that way though.
That is something that he actually hit on it. That if he comes in behind a company that actually went belly up and they've got everything, all the permits and everything, but they go belly up, there's not gonna be another company that's gonna wanna come in and take over that responsibility. So
That's the
whoever,
role
That's-
of the bond.
Of the bond.
Bond should take care of it.
Bond covers that.
Yep, should.
yeah, if the bond isn't in an escrow, it
Yep.
won't.
It will be.
That's a good point.
Okay, so are you
Back to the fire
leaving the,
stuff.
I'm good with leaving it how Malcolm wrote it. Yeah. I mean, it might be duplicate,
Mhm.
but that's just my opinion.
I don't know why we struck it last time, I guess.
I think,
If we don't wanna go in discussion about it, that's okay with me.
maybe it's
I
one,
it in my notes that we struck it, and I think there was just things about it that were,
I think we thought it was a little overkill,
yeah, exactly.
but
I'll be really honest with you, my notes were not super clear in this part, and the YouTube video, it wasn't quite clear, so I left it out of an abundance of caution. So,
Why?
and if you leave it, again, you have the public hearing where you can review.
On the fire
On the fire
language.
suppression stuff, yeah.
I'm good with the way it's written.
okay, so we'll leave.
What about the applicant permittee verbiage while
Oh,
we hit it, yes or
The
no?
verbiage there on the, yeah, I think it's okay to change that part of it
Throughout the document?
throughout, probably throughout the whole regulation.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect, okay.
I know it's not what you wanted to hear, but
Hey,
job security.
Consistency, right?
Well,
Is it
and
going back to
it
application?
kind of goes back to the discussion about
That
landowner,
makes sense.
making clear who the onus is on when,
Mm-hmm,
and so, yeah, okay.
alright, I gotta catch up.
Anthony had a question.
I'll be very quick, I know it's getting late. I have several
Is that-
questions
is that
and
gonna-
concerns about this whole section. The one that jumped out to me immediately is section D, subsection D. To inspect the fuel load within the facility when requested. I don't know, we don't really understand what that means exactly.
Right here. I got you.
It should be like grass, underbrush.
That kind of.
I mean,
I can see that.
yes,
That's not near as good as what G is.
which G,
On page 11. Good luck collecting. There'd be a lot of attorneys that did well.
right, that's kind of one of the things. Alright. But we don't have control,
Right.
It's on the board.
so I don't
It's
think
right
that
on the
we
board.
should have them in our regs. That is, I think, the
You mean
biggest
page
reason why
8?
we struck it. last
See, I
page
think most
11.
of the fire was
Do you guys have your
removed
notes?
because we require them to, the fire department, if you will, has a say-so within the permitting process.
Right. Do you guys have your notes? Did you at home? Oh. you do?
Mine didn't show.
Yours didn't show up?
Could we be a little more, identify that fuel loads, grass, undergrowth,
Spell it out, yeah.
just examples of what that would be.
My only comment there is the way this is written, that those quote unquote fuel loads could be on private private property. And might not have anything to do with our operations or our development.
Well, wasn't it in here somewhere where there was supposed to be a fire guard around the facility?
I think you mean, are you referring to defense built space?
Yeah, like a disc area where there's actually no grass.
Yeah, we,
On the boundary.
we typically have that, yeah, with our pad, that the wind turbine is supported with.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we have
Who's
it
gonna
in-
go around and
on that,
inspect that like the?
on that next section,
Well,
on E.
then let's scratch it.
Where we wanna call it coordination with the local fire department and working financial coordinator.
So by,
It's theirs.
By
They-
putting this in
They come
here-
up with the plan with them.
by putting this in here, we've automatically told our fire warden he's gonna have to come out and inspect the site. And I don't know if this board has the
We're doing
authority
things
to do that.
We could be
Do we?
liable for,
Or when they're volunteers.
is what I think.
You know, I didn't, until he brought that up, I didn't realize that, but we're actually,
Are we
by putting these in,
setting ourselves up for a liability?
well, I doubt we're part of the commissioner's hiring staff, but I don't know.
Look,
I don't know,
Thank you, Marty.
It gets kind of a.
So the whole idea behind some of these regulations have specifics in them, not to obligate us to do anything, but to allow us, if we need to go in. In other words, access to the facility to go in and check the fire load does not mean that you're obligating yourself to hire somebody to do it. It just means that if you feel the need to, if that fire warden wants to just to check and make sure things are safe, and he has a concern about something coming up, he can go in there, he would be allowed to. It's
Well,
not
I
an
think he can do that
obligation.
anyway, can't he?
Yeah.
He can
Not
come
that-
onto my property and say, hey, that is a fire hazardous, you need to clean it up, or you need to do whatever, that, he has
But-
that
but some
authority
of-
to do
I'm just
that.
saying in general, these rules, if you would
I
look at them
understand
through
what
the
you're saying.
lens of, it doesn't obligate you to hire somebody to do these things, it just puts in there that you would be allowed to, that they are accepting that you would be allowed to do these things if you need to. So it's not an obligation. It's like the collecting of the reimbursement, it doesn't mean that that's gonna be happening every now, you're forced to do that, it just means that they have recourse to say, hey, the fire department, and I know that when we had fire up in the hills, we had like 5 fire departments show up, and they all wanted a donation, and it was thousands of dollars that we were essentially obligated, because you don't wanna tell the fire department no, because they won't come next time, maybe, I don't know. But, you know, so, in other words, those fire departments could go and say to the responsible party, you know, we need you to reimburse us for our costs of coming and putting out this fire. It's again, just allowing you to do that rather than, it's giving guidance, not obligation.
thank you.
What do you think, Jay?
Well, Just
You're on the
to give
fire
you an
department.
just to give you an example, around the lake, there was the water subdivision, and it was built on top of one another. Pine trees all over. People built their houses around pine trees, and the roof is just covered with pine needles. And it's right next to Lakeshore Drive, where kids drive by and shoot fireworks. And that is a scary place for us, because there's one way in, one way out. It's just not a good situation at all. The fire load is tremendous, and we've been trying to work with the state to come up with a way to alleviate some of that. But if the landowners aren't willing, can't force them. So we're trying to get some money, either state or federal, to take care of some of that stuff. But I think with your plan, you're gonna have plenty of roads to all those towers. That's gonna be a defendable space there. But I, just for good housekeeping, you don't want a bunch of weeds growing up next to your road. I mean, you're gonna mow it kinda like they do the county roads or the state highway or the federal highway.
Yeah,
Or
and we have
maybe
a weed
whatever.
management plan that,
Mhm.
is constructed for the state industrial siting
Mhm.
process, so
Mhm.
that's definitely our
And-
plan.
And kind of to the point that
I don't think.
firefighters won't know how to fight these fires. Well, we're right
I
with
already
the interstate and the railroad right there.
Well,
We train
Some of these can't.
pair of binoculars, go upwind, and anything that goes out, you try to put out. Don't get in that smoke. Same way down there. That's what you're gonna have to do. You don't wanna go in there and try to take it down. So,
We're very committed to working with the local first responders, just like we already have with regards to battery. That's something that is top of mind for us.
mhm.
Go reboot right now. Go for it, for the win.
Okay, so where are we at with it?
I think we should take it out.
I'm
You're
not
talking
just,
D.
I'm just listening.
No,
trying to-
she's talking about that whole section.
So, I think fire protection, you need to have your defensible space, and I don't think that you need to have all this in the red. And then, when you come back down here to, then you have your plans with your local fire department and your emergency management. It's already there, that you need to have that. I don't think this is necessary.
What's the board's wish?
Can we revisit that, whether it's at the public meeting or?
Absolutely.
So
It is, I guess.
take it out now or leave it in
Leave
to discuss. That's the
it
direction.
in for the hearing, is that what we're going on that, Bonnie? Can we leave it in for the hearing, Bonnie, is that what you're thinking?
I'm proposing right now that we just take it out, because the last time, at our last meeting, we hashed it all out and we decided at that time to take it out. That's what I have in my notes and that's what Bill has in his.
I do, I have it, we
But,
took it out.
now they wanna revisit it, so we'll leave it in at
I
this
guess my
point.
thought is,
And-
I think it's a little too detailed
Mhm.
for what the rest of the, and it's duplicate. I mean, we're talking about weed control, we're talking, or fire load, but that's covered in the weed plan. As far as warden being able to go on the property, he already can. I guess I think we've got it covered back here in,
And then go back to P.
to P.
What page is that one?
It'll be on page 14, 15 of the proposal. that we're
Coordinate
looking at
with
right now.
local fire department emergency
That
management.
That they have a plan with.
I guess I would say we don't need it in there either.
So it's a different.
I'm
I'd
fine
say
taking
take
it
it
out.
out for now, Malcolm,
So, I hate,
but we need to, I think we need to revisit it.
I hate to drag it on, but what is your thought? So on page 15 under A, where it talks about a copy of the site plan, and then expand a little bit that changes in response. There's some language in here about changes to response, like basically anything that changes within the facility, updating that site plan or a regular update or
Sure.
something,
Yeah.
basically something to prevent from getting an initial site plan and then no update later. I don't think that'll be the case, but to ensure that it's not the case.
I would think that would be a better location to have things like that.
Well, it's right, yeah, it would fall in line with coordination with local fire department. emergency
Exactly.
management. it's a better spot for it.
So then all the changes on 15 that are in red will get changed again, correct?
In 15? Those are
Just the
all-
verbiage.
Those are all just verbiage
Yeah.
kind
But I
of
mean,
changes.
it's not gonna say parent company, owners, operators, we
Oh,
decided to
right,
change
we
that.
decided to
right.
change it to applicants or permittees or.
Yeah, so that'll all get changed again.
I got another thing too, I'm trying to figure out where it's at on this new draft.
So Malcolm, here on page 17, I see here it says we scratched 1 mile and went to 5 mile. That's just for the notification of the project?
To military installations.
Oh, okay, yeah, I'm sorry.
Where are you at, Molly?
Oh, maybe it is.
I'm
No, it's
trying
landowners
to
and
figure out,
military
it looks like there was something that got left out. Oh, I see it got. Renumbered differently. That's why, I think that's what happened. So in the original, or in the original draft that we were working with, it went from oh, maybe it's,
That's 13.
there's the fire protection,
I got different.
and then,
You've got, I got page 13 too. This is different, is it? Yeah, this is all different from what we got.
Those online?
Yeah, I printed these
there's the
offline
fire
today,
protection.
What's,
Yeah, they're
and we're on
different
page
because
13, not,
The 13,
not,
not 16.
they're different because,
yeah, I think they just jumped ahead to 16.
Yeah, we did jump in.
well,
Are we bouncing back to where?
I don't know. Because I can't
I
find.
mean, ours with this heading says 13.
Oh, maybe I can't find it.
13
because-
132070 says page 13 on
that's
that
page
page.
13.
You guys have 16, bottom of 16.
Local state federal permits.
So,
maybe
Well,
it's just the
and
way
what
it's
it's worth- so we did note, I should have said that at the beginning,
Oh.
we did notice that with Laura's this morning that
Depending on which search engine you used, it came up differently, unfortunately.
yeah.
It's still the same document,
So
Yes.
it's just different page
If
numbers.
you-
right, so we can't go by the pages, we need to go by the
yeah,
section.
you
and-
better
So
holler at us.
what,
Where we're at.
like
We're
what
lost,
pulled
I'm
up in Microsoft Edge was different than what pulled up in Chrome. So the lesson was, for me, that we'll PDF it and not make it a Word document, PDF it, and then that's what we'll post. So. Yeah, that was, I had,
I had a 3:30 heart attack, let's just put it that way.
okay, so where are you at, Bonnie?
I don't know.
Section.
I'm
Give
I'm
a
just
section.
having a really hard time finding the use of the public roads.
Which section are you in?
Did we do anything with, sorry, page 10 and 11 with the fire?
Done.
Okay. Triple check.
And then,
So I had it in my notes that we were gonna, so use of public roads, this is on page 12.
Oh.
M,
R9. Okay, found it. Okay.
and it just,
Page 9.
the only thing that we changed was public or private roads, we scratched private. Because we can't govern what people do on private roads, can we? I think that's why we scratched it anyway. It was just that little thing though, that was it.
And the reason, and that may very well be the case, I left it because really it's just an index of roads to be used.
Yeah.
And then if it's public roads, those public entities have the ability to enter into, we're not saying a private entity has to, but part of that application is just let us know what roads you intend to use. And if
Okay.
they're private, maybe it's a discussion the planner has with that landowner to ensure that that is an agreement.
Okay,
It really is just an index.
okay. And pre-construction thing.
I'm on 15, what do you want?
On 14, I do want to back up just a little bit, we jumped ahead for a minute. On 14, it's that section 4, just above little b. That was the part where we talked about if the tower's not functioning as intended or not repairable shall be removed. And then later, if the permittee receives complaint, it just said that they shall respond, but it didn't have a timeline. Our expectation was they would have some timely response, so within 30 days. Not saying it has to be rectified in 30 days, just respond to that complaint. And then 15,
So how are you gonna know
They think that
if it's not, I mean, it might just be shut off for 30 days, doesn't mean it's not working. I guess my question is how they have to respond to you in 30 days, how are you gonna know when the 30 days start?
From the time of the complaint,
the
right?
way, yeah, if I was the planner, the way I would do that section is if you had made a complaint, mailed that complaint, or however to the permittee,
That it hasn't moved in 30 days?
and then you come back to me and say, I haven't heard a word, then I'd go back and to the permittee and say, what's going on? So, we just expect some sort of response within a timely manner. Then we'll specify, so it gives whoever's making that complaint some, at least acknowledgement that they received it. And then if not, they can come to the planning office and they'll follow up.
Okay.
15, pretty standard.
Yeah, 15.
16, we talked about that little A will work on just a little bit with the fire plan.
Yeah.
15, I'm sorry, and then now we're on 16.
Here's FAA.
All the way up, so 15,
All the way up, okay, oh, there
that
we
little
go,
A,
gotcha.
that's where we'll add some information about the fire plan. Page 17. We, this was the 5 miles of notice, so anybody within 5 miles of the project is notified. I think the original request was 12, and then you guys had settled on 5.
Yeah.
In big C, just added that the notices shall be by certified mail. E, I think we need to update this section when we update solar. Remember, we talked about publication, really that's the function of the planning office.
Right.
And then make sure it's online, so we'll update that.
Are we matching these with the solar?
Yep.
That one? Okay, so those would be the same.
Pretty close, yeah. 18 on drainage, we talked about this a little bit. My intent, just so you know, in solar is to copy that, but in solar, remember you added wells, and so my question is, are wells in this drainage section as well?
It might be more important even with the turbines.
What's that?
The infrasound, how it affects wells, so it might be more important, even important to put the wells here. to keep it all consistent too.
The sound is gonna affect the well?
Page 14, the infrasound, oh yeah, oh yeah.
How does that affect the well?
It's sound you can't
That's not
hear.
true.
It is long, low waves that vibrate in the earth even. And it affects sometimes the charging and recharging of the wells. And it contaminates the wells. So it's a real big problem.
So,
It was in
okay.
some of your documents that
We
we gave
sent
you.
you guys tons of stuff on infrasound, but we can send more.
There's no reason to send more. I think common sense has to come into play somewhere and say,
Oh, I
I'm using the wind turbines in Cheyenne again all of a sudden. There's, the minimum lot size in Laramie County is 5.25 acres. There's houses everywhere, there's wells everywhere, and there's wind turbines out there. So I'm having a
And
hard
they
time
did
putting any
nothing wrong.
validity on that one.
And they
And
chose
they
to
know
build
they
there.
did it wrong, and that's why they're changing.
So you're telling me that the wind turbines in Cheyenne can affect my well? Cause my well is only about 55 miles from Cheyenne.
At night.
Yes.
So at night, it can
If you
cause
read the
my well to
documents,
quit
yes.
working.
Solar interference during the day.
I'm gonna say we leave that out, but
It's
I think
physics.
that's like voodoo. But I don't know.
You talk to
Because you
a
can't hear it,
physicist.
you could say that, but.
I'm not, I just have a hard time. I'm not,
Yeah, you are.
I'm the other side of you. I don't see that.
Well, there's just a lot of research on it.
So no?
So no on the wells.
Oh my gosh.
That's a hearing thing.
And then 19, nothing really, 20 nothing, 21 nothing. 23, we touched on this a little during solar. Basically just saying there has to be a disposal plan. Which was similar language I was gonna copy over into solar. Page 24.
And that was wasn't that gonna talk about building under construction, under, when it's being used, as well as when it's decommissioned? Cause I don't see anything here where it talks about decommissioning.
Right, and that was the question that Mark had asked, and so, there's, it says stored or disposed. And so, and Mark's point during solar was that, it should say all solid waste hazardous materials related to the construction, operation, maintenance, and decommissioning of WEX facilities.
Right, but that doesn't say it here.
Yeah,
I think that needs to be said.
and so,
Make sure it says decommissioning as well.
Okay.
All three stages.
Again, Malcolm, your pages are wrong. What section are you in?
well, so the pages,
13, 20, or 60, where?
80.
13, 20, 80,
Oh, 04, I thought you meant it was here, I was like, I'm getting tired if that says over there.
Four aspects of it.
so then
Tired.
on 24, struck may and said shall, so essentially what it does is there's no option for the county commissioners, they have to have financial guarantee. You don't have the ability to opt out of it.
Right.
And then 25, nothing. 26, this is in transfer permit, some timelines of notification of potential change, and then notification after it's changed hands. And then that, I think there should be some language that we work with, that new owner becomes the permittee.
I agree.
So those were some of what I thought you said, and some obviously not.
No, I think you did a good job.
And then, of course, you're gonna keep the, non-commercial WEX in here also, right? In this,
Yeah, that, I mean, that's,
I mean, you didn't print any of that, but, non-commercial WEX got taken out of our definitions
We
at the
got it.
beginning of this.
I added it.
We have
Yeah,
it.
it's here.
It is there, oh, maybe then in that one draft I read, it wasn't there. No,
It's
it's
still
in the
there.
definitions.
I don't know if it's in there. It's here.
It's here.
Yeah, it's
Oh.
added G.
Yeah.
Top of page 3. G in blue.
My page,
Yeah, non-commercial wax.
what's your page number for page non-commercial?
Page 3.
wax?
It is 27 and 28.
Oh, gosh, yeah, sorry. The definitions that I was reading this morning on did not have non-commercial wax.
It's G on page 3.
Okay, it's there now, okay. What's the name? Or it wasn't the one that was online, it was the one that got sent to us via email
I-
last week.
It may be the same
or
problem we had
Last
with,
Friday.
it may be the same problem we had with Laura's. It depends on, I don't know why, I've never
We'll
seen
be
that.
PDFing from now on.
Yeah, because mine came up as a Word doc.
Yeah.
I think there was one other thing on it.
Suggestion, if you put it on the website again, the one that we had didn't have a lot of the red that was in there.
We didn't get any red.
I feel like nobody's hearing, so.
If you did Chrome, if you had a Chrome search, that's the way you saw the red because of the program he used.
Well, I have some red.
Everybody else will not see the red, and that's what we found out late this afternoon.
Yeah, we just got black and white.
Correct, there's one section
That
in
is
fire that
incorrect.
came in red or whatever, there's
We
one
have
section.
red in some of it,
Just one.
I know,
all of it.
that's what Malcolm's trying to say, is that we are aware of the problem, and we're going to fix it by doing
Just
PDF
have
from
one
now on.
page. Yeah.
Yes.
If you use Google Chrome, it pulls up just like it should, and it, provided your computer had Word downloaded, but we will make sure that it's PDF.
Is this my copy? Yeah. Do you have it?
All right, at this time,
That's
is
what
there
we
any
got
other
last time.
pertinent information? Do we need to revisit these minutes?
Yeah, the only section of the minutes that I had was, the setbacks. I wasn't sure if I heard you correctly. My minutes do capture what you had said. Granted, you reversed that decision tonight, but the minutes do capture what you said about setbacks correctly.
So do we need to have a motion to
I would,
publicize these for the next meeting?
I would say just like the solar one. That gives us a little leeway, but yes.
Okay, so I'll move that we do the same with the wind regs.
Do I have a second?
Yeah, I'll second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Carried.
So, could you clarify what you guys just did?
We just made a motion to,
To have a public hearing on the wind energy.
well, to accept the proposed changes that we've gone over tonight.
Except
And
for that.
regulations, we made a motion on the solar regulations and on the wind regulations.
Both of them, is that what you said?
Yes.
I just couldn't hear,
We can't hear you.
We cannot hear out here.
Yeah, it's really
like-
hard to hear.
You guys
So at the
are
next
secret
meeting
little
will be the public meeting.
Public hearing?
Or meeting.
I don't think it'll be a hearing, will it?
It will not be November 11th because it doesn't work for the publication timeline, but I will, and that's Veterans Day, but as soon as we have that figured out, we will let you know. But as soon as we possibly can.
Will we have a meeting since it's Veterans Day?
Well, no, I mean, I guess it really is up to you, but, so what I'm saying is, we have to publish for 45 days.
So we gotta be 2 months down the road.
Even if it was in the newspaper on Wednesday of this week, which is impossible, I still wouldn't have 45 days before November 11th. So,
Right.
once we get the changes, we have to figure out what 45 days out from the date of publication is.
Okay.
So, it It will not be in November. I will shoot really, really hard for the first week of December.
I will not be here from the 3rd to the 10th.
Okay.
That doesn't mean you can't go on, but
I will shoot really, really hard for the first 2 days of December.
We're making sure
We'll do
you're
it
part of the
January.
party.
Huh?
We're making sure you're part of the party, Jeremy.
We're doing it for January.
All right, let's move on to these minutes.
I didn't get any copy of any.
The only thing I see is what Malcolm brought up is, 1.1 times the turbine. So we just need to, I think it's exactly how it's how it is, Malcolm. I think you wrote them right.
We
You
just
guys wanna
changed
read
it
these?
today.
Yeah, real quick.
Yeah, but it's, I think it's,
Open this one.
let everybody read them, and then if there's any
Coming up
additions or
right now.
corrections,
Bonnie, you read them?
It's coming up right
Bonnie, I
now.
just got it.
Bob, it's coming up on your screen.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, I've read them. I agree with you that they were right.
There you go.
one cough drop, Jill. I just happen to have 2 left.
Thank you, I'm gonna grab one of mine.
You guys have the same thing. She's got some really nice essential oils over there.
I need a bed.
She doesn't have
Essential
that.
bed.
I'm sorry, she does not have a bed.
Any additions or corrections? Okay. You act like this is your first meeting.
She survived.
I'm just thinking of my homework. It's gonna be immense.
Sure can.
You applied for this job.
That's it. But hey, after this, it's gonna only get easy, so.
Never say that.
Well, in the meantime, like, I'm okay with the minutes.
Okay, I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes if there are no changes or,
Make a motion to approve the minutes from the September 9th meeting.
okay,
I'll second.
any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Carried. Is there any other pertinent business?
I'm guessing there's nothing else on the table at this point. We haven't got any other permits or anything.
No applications. One of the changes you made last year was that simple subdivisions, that process is really an administrative procedure and actually now fits the definition of simple.
Yeah.
So, we do a lot of those. Laura has a stack of addresses she has to do. Technically, her first day is not until October 21st.
She's not even.
Technically, today, she's a county clerk employee.
Is that why you changed your glasses?
No, because I can't, I have 3
One
prescriptions.
hat for this, one hat for that.
Yeah, we'll say that, Bonnie. I'm young with old eyes.
But anyway, you will not have a meeting November 11th. And as soon as I know a date for a public hearing, I will let you know.
Perfect.
Are we gonna try to have a meeting to do best regulations and are we gonna wait till after the public hearing part, or should we try to incorporate that with the public hearing that day, that same meeting?
You're gonna just push the public hearing back on these 2 entities if you keep,
Right, but,
let's hear these 2.
no, I get that, but, so we can have a public hearing and have other discussion on the best system.
No, I think that's too
That's
much.
I don't think you're ever gonna
Okay.
get it done.
Okay.
What I understood from, in the minutes, I tried to capture it, was Bill's recommendation was since we're on the train of thought of wind and solar, finish, and then start. Almost like wiping the slate clean.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we focus on one option, or one, item at a time.
Yeah, cause that's,
That's the way I understood the recommendation.
yep, that's what I meant, I wanna get these two done. and move on.
All right, I think we can adjourn the meeting. Thank you all.
Well,